He's wrong though. Sweet.
Alrighty, it looks like we are live. It looks like we are.
Yeah, I was supposed to start
making noises and everything. All right.
Oh,
so,
good.
Hello, welcome to the party and all and whatnots and everybody. My name is Zed, and we are the new to the party weekly game. Turns out that I'm just a real jerk sometimes by accident. So it looks like we've got everything.
A sleepy boy.
Well, yeah. So it looks like we've got everything up and running and going. Can someone confirm for me that they can see us on the stream?
And that we're not muted.
And that we're not muted and that, yeah.
Yes, can you hear us in
No,
text,
we're not
people?
this time.
I heard you talking before I shut my volume down on my pad, so
Okay.
something's happening.
All right, that's good.
And I have the stream chat up and not the stream itself, so.
Okay, thank you, Yeg. For whatever reason, I'm seeing some video from Encounter Roleplay. I don't know why.
We were hosting, but the live stream is us.
Okay. I'm trying to get to our thing, and I am unable to do so for reasons.
Wow, Brock. Wow.
Ouch. Ouch.
I saw that tweet.
Say something about being there on time or something along those lines.
New to the party turned out to be
became
late to the
late to the
party.
Late to the party.
Oh, that's awesome.
Fashionably late. I mean, you know, making a grand entrance.
We are the party, okay?
On the
Yeah, there
upside,
ain't no party without all of this.
the
All right.
upside is all the players are in the tweet now.
Or in the yeah.
Yay!
Yeah.
Hi,
So
I'm and more.
+1.
so let's
It's
go ahead.
Actually, Queenie.
We'll work. Let me see. Last time we went counterclockwise, so this time we'll go middle out. So I want to hear first from Shakespeare,
Oh, okay.
who is the person you should all be able to see directly under the new to the party logo in the center of the screen, making cool arrow motions. Shakes, please introduce yourselves to us and the people at home.
Okay, I am Shakespeare. I am very obviously British. I'm sorry. And I'm playing Metzi, the Tabaxi warlock, who is very, very grumpy and a little bit stressed. Very stressed, generally all of the time.
All right.
It's very late. I don't have a lot here.
No, you're okay. So let's go to Moogs.
Oogs.
Hello, I'm Moogs. I'm that weird one that lives on the West Coast in Seattle. So it's all nice
The
and.
heart.
That's where Frasier's from.
Frasier.
Yeah, but
I love Frasier.
yeah. Coffee, video games, and I'll be playing the Tiefling Paladin Glody. Looking forward to it.
Alrighty. We have. Let me see, because I've done this in such a sort of a cockamamie fashion. We have
Yeah, quick job.
all the way to the bottom right of the screen. We have Wiley Hobbit.
That's me, Wiley Hobbit, coming to you live on the interwebs. I will be playing Findalar Elbane, a ranger, and he shoots things, including party members, with his trusty longbow.
Oh, yeah.
So
You did that.
Oh yeah, you did shoot us.
You did
Yeah,
that.
we had a very
Well,
brief,
just one of you, but yes.
brief
Bren.
friendly fire incident. It wasn't too bad. It wasn't too bad.
Nat ones, man. Nat ones. The dice tell the story. So pumped to play some D&D.
Alrighty, and last but not at all least is Cubit.
That's me. I'm Cubit. I play Brenly, the human fighter. What she lacks in intelligence, she makes up for in physical strength and willingness to help.
And adopting
Oh,
creepy goblin children.
Yes.
He is not creepy.
He's so creepy.
I will
So
fight you.
Creepy. You're welcome to try.
You can't reach it because he's sitting on top of my boy.
Nah.
Yeah, true that.
I suppose I should update the NPC picture section to include both Leech and Brick.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
If you have to.
I'll do that. I'll do that for next time. We do have two NPCs. We have Leech, who is our Goblin Cleric, and Brick, who is our Brick, who is our Ogre. I don't know.
Ogre baby.
Yes, our Ogre dog. Okay, I swear to God. So my one technical issue, and if anyone wants to walk me through it, is I, for the life of me, cannot figure out how to switch to watching the live thing happening on the Welcome Party RPG channel from Twitch. Like I can see the thing we're hosting. I cannot switch to us.
You might have to refresh Twitch.
Like I see this other thing, this encounter roleplay, and it says live, and that's what I'm seeing.
You're probably looking at the feed that we were hosting.
Right.
Yeah.
I
Thrott's
think you
suggesting in
just have to
chat
reload it.
that
It
reload.
just says turn
Okay,
on.
hang on. So that's what I'm doing.
That's the only thing I know how to do is reload. So that's what I'm going to stake my claim on.
Okay, now it says it's live, and it's us. Okay, so that's really weird, though. Okay. Huh. Okay. All right. Well, it looks like we're in good shape now. We apparently we're in good shape for the whole time. I can confirm for myself now that I'm in good shape, so that is good. Like Sisyphus, I'm drawn to view myself. No, that's not Sisyphus. That's
Sisyphus is the rock on the
Yes,
hill.
I know. He's the one with the rock, and he pushes it up, and then it gets knocked. And then he drank a Red Bull. Aha! See, I remember all of this. Narcissus.
Not quite how I
There we
remember
go.
that.
I was thinking Narcissus. So, regardless.
Narcissus is such a gay icon.
Really?
It's true.
Yeah. It's like, I don't care about nothing, I'm the best. And he had a wonderful hat.
Okay. All right.
Hence narcissism.
Well, I knew. Okay. Anyway, that was why I was. Hi. How's it going, everybody? All right. So we, as of last time, we had made our way to the overworld map.
Dun, dun, dun.
Ba-ba-ba-bum.
And had gotten a whole heck of a lot out of it. Everything was looking pretty great. And then I threw a little wrench in the works because...
Bloomba!
Bloomba.
Well, there was the Bloomba.
We love Bloomba.
But I was actually thinking about what happened after the Bloomba, which is to say that you guys leveled, but you didn't level once, you leveled twice.
Yes.
So for this group, that's a pretty humongous upgrade.
It's like
Mhm.
tripling
So-
in awesomeness.
I know that you guys are working on this stuff over the weekend. I'm curious to know what all you managed to get done. So we're just going to start off with a little bit of housekeeping to begin today, and then we're going to get into some sweet action. Action? I don't know, but we're going to get into some sweet plot related things after that. So let's go ahead and take a quick look first at Moogs, whose character sheet is being
Moogs.
Could
Leech
change it to
Fin.
3.
Oh, because you're under Glory, right? Not Moogs.
Can we
Okay.
assume that we took a long rest by now?
Oh yeah. You guys got to town. You didn't really get a chance to look at the town, but you absolutely you rolled your little wagon over off to the side, and then you went, "There's the town. That's the town. I'm going to bed."
We found it.
Yeah.
Cool.
Mission
good.
accomplished.
Fuck this shit.
And you're like, Where do we get paid?
Can I leave yet?
So yeah, I am level 3 now, which
Never.
means that I am a little paladin. I get to pick Glory's her paladin oath, and for that I'm going with the Oath of Conquest, because Glory feels that, you know, to win you smash your enemies, and you smash them good. Everything I have already set. I got my spells set up, my new attack set
Everything
up.
looks good. Okay, and you did the smart
Feels
thing.
good.
You made separate attacks for each of your Warhammer smites.
Yes.
Yep.
The only thing I don't have is my new HP yet.
Ah, do you not know how to do that? Or
I thought it'd
don't-
be fun to roll it on stream.
so you can, for HP, you can either roll or you can take the average. And if you take the average, it should say what that is in your specific class. So what is your die roll? Or
I
you
believe
get
my hit die is a D10. is it?
D10.
Or
So I'm pretty sure your average is would end up being a 6, but
So I have a 1d10, and in the fighter section, it does say you could take the average of 6.
yep. So if you want, you can just straight take a 6 every time, plus your Constitution modifier. You do not have to do that, but it is an option available to you. So,
I like option.
would you like to roll, or would you like to take the average? But I will ask that you try to stick to one or the other most of the time, just because otherwise, if I ever try to go back and reverse engineer and calculate, it is a bitch.
I will stick with the rolling, because that's either really great or embracing the imperfection, which I believe in.
Okay. All right. So let me switch over the view so that we are clearly on the roly screen. And if I were a better Twitch GM, I would have a drum roll ready. I do not, so I'm going to sit here and stare at you as I eat my sandwich.
1d10 or 2d10? Just get out of the way.
1. Do it each time.
5. So plus Constitution modifier, that's 7.
Yep.
And
The roll isn't showing properly.
Is it? Oh.
It
The
is-
screen isn't centered in the overlay.
Oh.
Look at Cuban housekeeping over here.
We're helping each other. It's a
Oh
little-
no!
Whatever.
Shout out to Midgardia. I'm literally just in the chat, and
Yeah,
they
I just saw that
can
too.
let us know.
Thank you.
Hooray!
The first roll was a 5.
First roll was
Use
a
a real
5.
MVP.
Second roll was a 4. I'm satisfied with this. I will take that HPs.
Really? Because you're 3
What?
hit points lower than what you would have been.
It's more fun this way. Or something. Yeah, more fun.
I agree.
And don't forget your con bonus
Okay.
if you get such a thing.
Yeah, he's got all that.
Cool.
All right, I'm cool with it if you're cool with it. That is the ultimate rule. If everyone agrees, fine. Okay. So that is where you are at. Next, we shall take a quick look at Brenley.
Oh, hey, that's me.
Yeah.
That's you.
Okay, so I also did not roll my hit dice, but what I did have to do was choose a martial archetype, and I chose Battle Master
Battlemaster's the good one.
because is it okay? Awesome. I was just reading them, and that's the one that sounds like fun.
That's the one that gives
Basically,
you
I get 4 superiority dice, and
Yep.
I could pick 3
maneuvers.
maneuvers,
Yep.
and I chose my 3 maneuvers. I chose goading attack,
Okay.
parry, and riposte.
Okay.
And I think then that all I would need to do is roll for my health.
Yes. I will say at some point in the future, you should very seriously consider tripping attack, as it is the bomb diggity. It's much better than it really probably ought to be.
Okay.
But we're certainly in good shape now, and I do like the ones that you picked, especially I think that they are thematically appropriate for you. All right, so go ahead and are you gonna roll, or are you gonna do the
Yeah.
the average?
No, I'm
Oh,
rolling.
she rolling.
Oh my
A
goodness!
1 and a
That's
10.
good.
Oh, really?
I'm good with it.
Is that
Yeah.
average out?
You know what? I'm happy with it.
I can see little parts of Zed's soul dying. He's like, "Are you okay?" Okay.
Why don't you
Mike.
just take the stick? No, that's not fun.
That is fine. This is all fine. Everything is fine. I'm fine with it.
Room's on fire.
Yeah,
It's fine.
exactly.
It's fine.
The dice tell the tale.
No, we tell the tale. Damn it, the dice just help.
Dice are our
Now they're
masters. The
helping.
dice chooses who will live and who will
He'll
die.
die.
Flaws make an interesting character.
Ooh.
That is true. That is true.
Even if those flaws
But
make you
death-
an interesting character.
Yeah, I was gonna say death, not as interesting as one might think.
I don't know, you know.
Not for
It's
the one
fine.
dying, maybe.
We're
That's when
fine.
leave.
We're gonna take a look now at Findelar Elbane.
That would be me.
Yes, it would.
So Findelar, little Wood Elf Ranger, is now a 3rd level Wood Elf Ranger. So I would go a little different than I've ever gone with a Ranger and
Okay.
go with the Beastmaster archetype. So, and I have kind of a plan and a backstory. I think you and I briefly discorded about that.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought we might make that discovery sometime while we're, new to the outpost.
Yeah.
As to the who and the whats.
To be
and all
entirely
that.
honest, I think it's just for the unveiling purposes. As far as the rest of the party is concerned, you went out shortly after breakfast one morning just to go for a walk because you go for walks, and you
So
came
the
back
Wood Elf Ranger?
and you had a badass dog with you. And
That's the one.
there was no real explanation. It's
Happy.
like
I love him.
just all of a sudden he's got
Why
a dog.
with the pets? Always with the pets.
So, would you like to describe your dog to the group?
I would love to. Has anyone ever seen the movie Turner and Hooch? Yeah, that dog. Except it's the smaller version. That is actually no, that's a Mastiff. The Bull Mastiff
That
is the
must
smaller
be true.
version. Yes,
That
mine is a
must-
Mastiff.
Ha.
And he was just kind of out in the outpost. I'm assuming he was probably a leftover pet from when the original, like the lumber people and all that were there, and he got left behind. And we met, and he is my new companion. He probably stands about 3 feet high at the shoulder, probably a good 125, 130 pounds. He has a tendency to drool and so forth. And it's weird because he's already taking a great friendly interest in our cat friend Metzi.
No. No.
Yeah.
No.
So his
Ah.
his name that I wrote down was his name is. He actually has like a surname Hu with a little over the U. It's Sindarin Elvish for strong dog. So I went and tried to go
Oh, wow. Okay.
exciting on backstory.
And you said the name is what again? Because you
Thalion.
Valiant.
Thalion. Thalion. Thalion.
Okay. All right. I will need to make a token for Thalion.
Yeah. So he's my Mastiff buddy, and we thought it would be fun, or at least I did. I don't know, Zed, if you saw this in our Discord discussion, but I think Zed's going to RP Thalion, except of course I get to command him and so forth when we need
Yeah.
to do that. But that way we can interact a little more naturally, perhaps.
Yes, and Thalion is not an especially vocal sort. He's actually Thalion is stoic.
Yeah.
He says a lot with his sniffles.
Yeah.
He likes to sniff around things and will often snort in sort of a final way, like when he snorts, he's usually made a choice about something, and
Punctuation.
yes,
Yeah.
and
Nice.
it's typically done for.
And I was really worried about the interaction, given the size of this animal and the personality of my good friend Mitzi. And turns out he just really seems to be fond of our tabaxi. So, because dogs and cats, it's really relieved that we didn't have, at least from the dog side, any hatred. So.
Mm-hmm.
Feel the love. Everything else is done. Hit points are done.
No, I'm just going to stay on
I've
top
got
of the caravan forever now.
I've got spell slots filled, and we're good to go.
Brick walks by, still slightly taller than you, waves, and then keeps going.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Hello.
Hi.
I've been treed by a dog. Oh my goodness. Caravan.
Or you could just get over yourself and come on down and play.
Yeah.
Alrighty, so let's take a look. That does look alright. Now, one thing, and I didn't mention this to you when you told me what you wanted to play, because I didn't want to dissuade you from doing the thing that you are interested in. But Beastmaster Ranger is known within the circles of those who talk about these things to be literally the worst in terms of combat efficacy option you can choose. Now, the thing is, they did recently go through and revise it, and also I'm not going to let you end up with something that is the worst, because I am not myself the worst. So you and we will talk off stream later about exactly what we want to do to it. I'll have you take a look at that updated thing that Welcome Party RPG main keeps tweeting out. If you haven't clicked on it, you should.
Okay.
But yeah, basically, like WotC, Wizards of the Coast, WotC, recognized that what they put together for that just didn't work out well. It was basically, I think out of fear for creating something too powerful, they just didn't go far enough in the other direction at all. And so it's kind of toothless in ways that don't even make that much sense for it to be. So there are changes, so you'll read through those and see how you feel. And if we feel that we need to tweak it to bring you in line with anybody else, we can.
Sounds good. I mainly chose that because it was different than anything I've ever done. I'm trying to stretch a little bit.
Yeah.
And I like that it was more story-based.
Yeah.
And, my guy's not a tank wade in and hack and stuff anyway. And with being more of a ranged weapon.
All of those reasons are great, and also why I don't want you to not get to play that thing, right?
Right.
I just, I don't... You should all be able to make choices that you want to make based primarily on just role play and fun, right? That should be all the decision-making process you guys need to make. I then have to go through as the GM and think about, okay, well, are they going to have fun if, for example, one of the members of the party isn't really, carrying their weight when it comes to combat and whatnot? And that's not due to any fault of yours. It's not like you, Wily Hobbit, are out there training with bow and arrow every day, on your own to make sure that your then in-game elf character gets it's not a matter of personal effort on your part. It's just it's not as well written. So if you want to pick the item, which you already did and which I already approved because I dig it personally, if you want to pick the option that is not balanced, then fine. We'll just balance the damn thing. Does that make sense?
For me, man, I figured it would go good. I took at second level, you get the fighting style, and I took the ranged weapon fighting style. So,
I mean, yeah, that's exactly where you want to be. So, finally, how we doing,
Hello.
Betsy?
I'm
Good
awake.
morning.
Betsy is happy with all
Yeah,
the
it is
requests.
actually morning now. Yes, so I Level 3, I get to pick my pact, which is hard to say very fast when you're tired.
Pick a pact. Do you get to pick a pact of pickled peppers? Spells.
Don't, because I will actually try and say the whole thing, and
Peter
I will
Piper.
embarrass myself.
See, I screwed it up just then because I was thinking about it. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers.
Peck of pickled peppers. A peck of pickled peppers. Peter Piper picked. All
right, fine. You win because you got the second part. Anyway.
Right. So I picked Pact of the Blade.
Yay!
Yeah. So I can now summon my Big Mac into my hand, which he's not at all startled by. She said sarcastically. And I also get my Eldritch Invocations, which is another thing that's fun to say in an English accent. Eldritch Invocations. And I picked Armor of Shadows because I need some armor.
Yep.
Because I'm a bit squishy. So I now have Mage Armor at will. No spell slots or components or anything.
Yep.
That's so
shiny
gross.
Mage Armor. And I picked Agonizing Blast because why wouldn't you want to make Eldritch Blast more fun?
That looks perfect. So it looks like you do need to do your hit points. Oh, yes.
Yes, I do.
What was the thing you wanted me to say?
I ask you about my spells because I got 2 more spells, but I wanted to change out one of the spells that I had at first level, which according to the class thing I could do. So the spells I picked, my second level spells, I picked Branding Spite, which is a Hexblade alternate, and Hold Person. And I swapped out Arms of Hadar, which was kind of stupid, for Charm Person at first level. Is that okay?
That is fine. I will say Arms of Hadar is better than you give it credit for, but I also understand your choice. So what I'm going to do, though, is pull up the... Charm Person is fine, and particularly for your character and the kinds of things your character wants to do. Totally makes sense. I believe there's a pact later that will allow you to do things like that more often. But or not a pact, but an invocation. What I want to look up real fast, and so I'm just pulling up the book, because Warlock casting is something that while I've experimented with, I've not gotten to actually play in the field. And so your spells known, right, is, so you're level 3, so you have 4 spells total known. But you only get 2 spell slots.
Yeah, and they're at second level now.
Right. So whatever spells you cast as if they were second level. So even if it's a first level spell, because you're a warlock, you don't do that. You cast it as a second level version.
Can I not choose to cast it at first level?
Nope.
Oh.
Yeah, at least so far as I'm aware. But I will say it's also not that... It will never be... It is almost never bad to cast the higher level version.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
But yeah, so just something to keep in mind. So you, let me see, right, and then you got your 2 invocations. So it looks like you did everything now. Yeah, it looks like you got everything correct there. So it looks like you need your HP. Now, so you said your question was precisely what? Or were you just highlighting the fact that
it was just I just wanted you to check my spell.
It looks right at the moment. It does look right.
It just for the swapping out, because Arms of Hadar was just annoying me because I wasn't using it because I'm not really meleeing at the moment.
Sure.
Much.
And you can always switch back to it later. That's fine.
Okay.
Okay. So then, just taking a quick look here. All right. So, are you going to roll or take the average?
What is the average?
5.
I'll roll.
And it's
What am I
5. It's
rolling?
5 plus your con modifier, so you would gain 6 points every level if you did that.
Okay.
So
what am I rolling?
D8.
It's a D8. Yep.
Yeah, I'll roll.
Okay. All right.
Wait, why break a tradition?
We like to live dangerously.
All right. This part is a little hardcore, it seems.
Wiley, did you roll your HP?
Hardcore
I did.
or euphemistically stupid. Which, So I'm rolling 1d8.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes. Now, Wiley, in future, and I'm fine with yours as they stand right now, but in future, roll yours live with the rest of us, okay?
Okay.
Ooh.
Yeah, I rolled them in roll 20. You can see them if you want to go up.
I believe you. I totally believe you. I don't want to go up and check. I believe you.
So do I roll
I
that
saw
again?
them.
Because everyone else seems
We'll
to have
find
done
that.
too.
Yes. Well,
Do I-
you need a second one. Yep.
Okay.
You roll it once per level. So since we're leveled to level 2 and to level 3, that's why we did it twice.
Man, they got all the
Nicely
luck.
done.
Wow. Okay.
This is why.
This is why we don't take the average.
Exactly.
Okay. So each of those add
You say
one.
that, but we could have all rolled ones.
So it looks like you're adding 17 total hit points to your
Wow.
9. Am I doing that math correctly? Because you have a con
I
mod.
don't know what math you're trying to do.
You have a con mod plus 1, so it's 8 plus 1 is 9, 7 plus 1 is 8, so it's 9 plus 8 is 17,
Yes,
right?
17.
So you're adding
17
17 to your
plus-
current hit points of 9. So
Is 26, I want to say.
yeah,
Someone help me out. I don't do maths. 26?
I think.
That sounds right. Okay.
yeah.
You have more health than I do.
Dyscalculia, I can't do numbers. Okay, so 26.
I have this calculated too.
They don't stay in my head very long. Okay, so I think that's everything. I
Yeah,
think?
yeah. I believe that is it for our bookkeeping.
Yeah.
Okay.
At second level, I also got to pick a fighting style, and I picked defense fighting style. So while I'm wearing armor, I get +1 AC, which brings me up to 19.
Nice.
Wow, you guys are just hard as hell to hit. That is good. That is good. That is good for you.
Dang.
Nice,
Awesome.
man.
Alrighty. Okay. So, I'm going to, and I realize that there's going to be a little bit of lag, but I am going to open this up to the floor. Does anyone on the stream have any questions about anything that they've seen before we move on? And
Well, I think at Jage TV was asking about confused on changes to the character sheet. So Flock had asked them to specify, but we haven't seen that yet.
seen what?
What they're wondering about
Okay,
changing
so-
the character sheet.
Okay. All right. So Yeg, here, let me show you using. I'll use Brick's character sheet. Now, Finn, do you mind actually if I have yours be the archetype here?
Oh, please, yeah.
Okay. So Yeg, just to show you what all is going on here. So this is the character sheet. It is similar to the character sheet that you would have from the book, but there are some notable differences, primarily being that it's rearranged a little bit so that it fits into this kind of HTML-based format. So all their main stats are down this side. AC is up here, initiative, speed, and they can click on initiative. That's how they roll their initiative when they're in the game. This is the current hit points, and you edit it up here, and then so your hit point maximum is up here, and then as you raise or lower hit points in the game, you do that. And I've got it so that this number is tied to each character's token on the board here. The hit dice. Oh, and guys, do be sure to make to put in your total number of hit dice, because you will.
I believe it automatically updated it.
I think it does. I think it does. But just make
What
sure.
should we have?
You should have 3 of whatever your hit die is for your class.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you guys take a short rest, you can choose to spend any number of hit dice that you have available to you, and you can do that every time you take a short rest. Well, for as many hit dice as you have, once you run out of those hit dice worth of healing, then you have to take a long rest before you can get them back.
Okay. And the hit dice is the one we just rolled to level up, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
And then down here we've got our passive perception, which is a number that I often ask for because that shows me basically how passive perception is what most stealth rolls are versus. And then over here, our peeps have been so kind as to consistently put in their, just copy and paste their class features and other things that they are adding that don't maybe go elsewhere. Traits, ideals, bonds, flaws, all along here. And then we have our bio section, which is largely empty because, frankly, this is more miscellaneous stuff. And then if a character has spells of any kind, then they show up in here. And to add spells, you click the plus symbol. If you want to edit or alter a spell, then you can click the little gear symbol. You can go through and mess with it that way. And it does look, I admit, it is a bit much to take in. Hello, Demon Lord. I admit that it is a bit much to take in, but it makes sense, and maybe would you guys agree it makes sense once you start messing with it?
Yeah,
Big time.
Absolutely.
Big time.
Yeah, I find the
Once you get a chance to start clicking and interacting with it, it's pretty easy.
Yeah,
Learn by doing.
I find the character sheets for Roll20 to be pretty straightforward for the most part. But they are definitely intimidating when you first open it up. Okay. So, you guys make your way to the town. Now, the town map is currently under construction because you guys will aid in its construction.
Mm-hmm.
I love base building games.
Yeah, I've decided to include for us a base building element, and now where is my...
Or like the base that gets progressively more and more built as you progress through the game.
You can like dump money into it.
Yeah.
Here is my...
Upgrade
do we have to? I like my
that
money.
makes the fire. What?
So one thing I will say about 5th Ed D&D, because it is a magic item lighter system than prior, it often ends up that characters have way more money than they know what to do with. So here's you guys in our our infinite loading plane, right?
Oh, good. I'm as far away from Leech as I can possibly get.
He is a good boy.
No, he's not. He's
So-
a cannibal.
I'm getting rid of
And
the...
a good boy.
Okay. So what we need here are some tokens, which we should still have available to us. Let me double check. Otherwise, I mean, if I have to, we can just make stuff. But, so here's what I want to point out. And you guys have the ability to kind of plan this stuff out yourself to some degree. And what I'm going to type into the Twitch chat, actually. So, City Hall, Lumberyard, Tavern, Merchants, School, Housing. So there are 1, 2, 3. I spelled it Taven instead of Tavern, but there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 things that we need to place onto this map, and this will be your town. So you show up to town, and it is a fucking wreck. There is basically nothing here. There are some wagons similar to the ones that you're riding in that look like they were basically just tipped over on their sides and hollowed out, and those are what people are living in, with dirt floors and just everything is ramshackle as hell. There are no real structures to speak of. They do require additional pylons, yes. There are no structures to speak of. There's nothing. There are about 40 people living in mud, who are just kind of like sitting around a couple of different little campfires, looking gross and angry. And and when you first ride into town, you're so exhausted you don't really have an opportunity to even interact with them. But now that it's morning and you wake up and you realize, no shit, this really is where we are right now. It becomes sort of up to you guys to decide exactly what you're going to do from here. So you wake up to Elswick, who is outside of your wagon, just standing there. Very...
Elswicky.
Yes.
I'm still sleeping on top of the caravan, so I'm just like...
He's the mayor, right?
Kind of.
Yeah.
He is
He doesn't like being called mayor.
he is the de facto mayor. He is probably the mayor, but he maintains that that is an elected position, that he has not been elected to that position yet, and so it causes him to twitch a little bit because he has a very strong sense of civic forthrightness and adherence to the law. Okay. So, how do you guys wake up?
I've already been off wood elfing, just looking around the perimeter. I've made the acquaintance of my companion Thalion, and I'll probably reappear in camp once people are up and at 'em.
Okay.
I'm still sleeping on top of the caravan.
Okay.
I sleep a lot.
Well, yeah. And then you're like up at
Cats.
weird hours and
Yeah.
You skulk
Yeah.
around.
Just prowling around the caravan.
And then at like 2 a.m. you get really excited and just start like running randomly.
yeah. And then you like scratch at the front door and then meow plaintively for no good reason.
I don't do that.
And then when we open the door, you don't even go through it.
I'm off like, peeing around the perimeter.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
That's fair. That is the tabaxiing around as opposed to the wood elfing around.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Leech, if he were to run for mayor, by the way, he would run on a platform of healthcare for all.
He'd be running from a coffin.
But he's
He's here
not,
way more than
My
once.
life.
he's not really inclined towards public service. So
Shocker.
yeah. So Elswick is standing there, and he is wearing if it is possible to be wearing an even more plain set of robes than before, he is. Whereas his previous robes were the plainest thing you've ever seen, these are somehow even more plainness-der. He is
Plain.
he is taupe. Elswick just is the living embodiment of
beige.
taupe. Yes, he is
His blood is probably
Oatmeal.
taupe.
he is a beige person.
He is gruel.
Yes. So,
Yes.
Elswick is waiting for you. Who among you will be the first one to interact with him?
Good morning.
Hello.
Hey, boss.
So this is it.
Yes.
This is the town.
This is in fact less even than what I had been led to believe was here. Apparently, they've been having issues with goblin raids most evenings, to the point where the people who are here now are only about half of what was here before, and they stopped trying to build things because the goblins came every night and tore them down. I feel for these people. I hurt when they hurt. Please,
I walk up.
will you
That's rough, buddy.
help us?
I walk up with Thalion behind me. The goblins will no longer be a concern, I can assure you. I've scouted out the perimeter, sought high ground for my bow. That will come to an end this evening, I assure you, sir.
I will warn you, they are telling us stories of multiple goblins with magical qualities, as well as something that they called the Exploder.
A shaman indeed.
That is not a comforting name.
No.
I love it.
Of course you do.
Leech, by the way, says, they have an exploder?
Oh, are you still here?
You know what that is?
I ain't going anywhere, baby.
Don't call me that.
Well, what should I call you?
My name you can call me Metzi.
I ain't going anywhere, Metzi. Is that better?
Slightly.
He's
All right.
so considerate.
I aim to please.
Yes.
You do such a great job all the time.
Terrible aim.
Well, that's just because one of my eyes is broken, but that's okay.
So can you tell us more about this exploder, Leech?
I can.
Please.
I can.
Please.
So exploders. Well, okay. So when you have a goblin who likes to drink, you can make the goblin drink a lot. You ever have a water balloon?
Yeah?
Okay. So flammable water balloon.
That's brilliant.
That's disgusting.
It's not great for the goblin, but it's pretty good for everyone else.
Everyone not within range.
Yeah. Yeah. Not,
Everyone not in the splash zone.
yeah.
Ugh.
I pat my longbow. Perfect.
And just kind of like nervously just start like cleaning.
So if you
Apparently, we should look for the bloated goblin and strike him first then.
can, I will say I've never found a group that used those that only had one.
That makes sense. Ooh, I wonder if they'd cause like a chain reaction. Like one of them explodes and then they all start exploding.
It depends. You're not supposed to put them all in the same cart or battle wagon, but I mean, you know, sometimes you only have one.
People are stupid.
Anyway, I'm gonna go and scrounge up some I was smelling something earlier. I'm pretty sure it's been dead a couple days. I'll see you.
Just go.
And he
Have fun!
scuttles away.
Goodbye, Leech.
Thank you, Leech.
Bye, Leech. I love you.
Love you too.
Even though I am already clean, I am casting prestidigitation.
Leech,
Feel
Leech,
dirty.
take Brick with you. He needs to be walked.
Okay. And
I am all fluffed up. Hackles are raised.
Brick takes his flower basket with him and wanders off.
Buddy system.
By the way,
Okay.
Wiley, your dog the entire time like is watching and then looking up at you, and it seems pretty clear that if he even if he cannot speak common, he certainly understands it pretty well.
Interesting.
And so he just kind of keeps watching and then looking at you and giving you the mastiff version of a raised eyebrow.
Just like that.
Yeah.
I don't blame you, buddy. I understand, Thalian. I feel the same way.
And then he leans against you.
Scratch.
So, you are currently in charge of defending a mud pit from angry exploding goblins. You have options available to you. You have choices to make. The primary choice being, how do you want to go about trying to defend this damn place? What do you want to do to make it defendable? And then afterwards, or ahead of time, either way, however you feel like it, you do get to choose to some degree how the town is laid out. As those who are in charge of defending it, it is well within your purview to help choose the layout so as to try to come up with the most defensible positioning. So
is this all in a flat, open? Like, how close are we to tree line or any trees or anything like that?
So that's a fair point. And so I'm just going to call up the overworld map for just a moment.
Yeah.
Just so you guys can kind of see what this looks like, and so we can talk about it that way. So let me zoom out here. Okay. So forward outpost 27982 or 27982 is in the center of kind of a bowl-shaped depression. It's very flat at the bottom of it, but then it dips up rapidly into the steep hills, not quite mountains, but very steep hills that border it on all sides, save for the channel that allows passage back to the gateway.
Worst possibly defendable possibility thing.
Well, so it's kind of up to you. You're essentially defending a flat plain. Like anything that gets over the hills is going to have a nearly equal chance, regardless of the direction from which it's coming. So if you want to try to arrange things in such a fashion as to create some sort of funnel or kill pocket, that's fine. That's up to you. But there is no like obvious choice here. It's really just based on preference. So,
okay. Are there building materials? I know this was once lumber.
Oh, there's a ton of building materials.
So is there wood and nails and things?
Yeah, for the purposes of what we're doing right now, assume that there is literally no shortage of options for laying out the town. Like, however you want it set up is pretty much how it can be set up. And the people who have been living here are actually really eager to have an opportunity to try to build something again. They're not living in squalor just because they feel like it. It's just that this is what has been sort of forced upon them by circumstances. So let me just... What I want to do... And I suppose were I better at this, I would have had this already laid out. Let's see, will it allow that? Okay. Except obviously that's more like that. So you guys will need to set up a couple of different buildings. And their locations. And so what I'm going to do, so you get approximately 2 nights free without huge amounts of interaction with goblins and such.
That came with our lodging package. 2 nights, no goblins.
Yes,
free.
exactly.
Used our points. Yeah.
So like you set up a watch, but just you know for a fact that like no one can find any goblins anywhere. No one is even finding like recent goblin droppings.
Hi.
Well, how else do you track them?
Footprint. I don't know.
Yeah, if you're bored.
Bracken.
If you're
Just
bored.
shakes my head at the cat. Oh, Katie.
I have a sensitive nose. I don't want to hear that.
I'll follow it.
You know what? Fine. Sweet.
Constantly cleaning.
I'll let you guys decide what building that's supposed to be.
Oh dear.
So
That's the
Temple?
that's a restaurant.
I don't know if that's problematic or not.
I think it is.
I'm fine with it though.
Probably. I apologize if it is. It's very late. My filter isn't great right now.
No,
Um,
it's good.
No, you are more than fine.
That could be your little pop-up temple.
Why did that not show up? Hang on. Meh? Hello? I'm dragging you over. Okay. I guess you just don't work. Or I'm...
There's like 3 of them.
So right now there are 3. I need to give you a few more. But the game is being awkward. So I apologize for the amount of time that this is taking. Boop.
So the buildings we have to set up are the City Hall,
Yeah,
Tavern.
I'm actually getting rid of
Blacksmith.
our pagoda thing. It's just
Okay.
it's screwing everything up because it's isometric.
How dare you not conform to us?
Yeah, anyway, continue what you were pondering.
Yeah, so City Hall, Tavern, Blacksmith. What else does a town need?
So if you scroll up, I posted them in the Twitch chat.
Mm-hmm.
This is your lumber yard.
Ah, there we go.
There's a lot of talk about mayors and
There we go.
goblins.
It came back.
Uh,
I lost
think-
everyone's video
okay.
for a second.
oh,
Can you hear me now?
yeah.
We got you.
Hi.
Okay, yeah, I just had a lot of icons for a second.
Okay, so you guys get to
It's back now.
decide what each of these things is and where they should go. And if we need to draw in additional buildings, we certainly can. But what I'm going
There's the
to
school.
do is controlled
School
by
implies children.
all players. Save.
Merchants in a lumberyard.
All mature students.
And so, for those of you who are watching on the stream, what you can see me doing is I'm clicking on each thing and then clicking controlled by, and I can edit that so that then everyone is capable of moving these things around. And the purpose here for that is so that the players can make their choices as to where they would like these things laid out.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys get to make
Oh, yeah.
these choices. How do you want the town to look? And so you have some time to think about it. But I don't know. I really like this part. I think it's cool to let you guys to get to sort of build the town. If you hate it, let me know. Just, don't do it publicly.
I think for my part, the Wood Elf is going to be most interested in constructing a few platforms that I can climb that maybe just 20 feet, since we're on a flat or in the bottom of a bowl, but I want to be able to be elevated to see and shoot.
Sure.
With dark vision. I think that Tabaxi and I are going to be best. So
So
instead of talking, maybe I should RP that.
well, yeah. So here's what I will say is, once we get the first 6 buildings placed, okay, then we can make additional tweaks. But so as a group, we have to decide where this is all supposed to go and what we want it to look like. And once you've decided on that, then we can go further from there. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah. So
As a ranger and an outdoorsman, a bit of an outlander, I'm not sure how much I can help with the layout of the town, but I know I can help with the design of the defenses.
Would you want to have watchtowers around the perimeter of the settlement?
Seems to me that might make the best sense at the corners and perhaps one in the center. Or near the center.
What
It's
about
easier
if
to
we
kill
had
trouble if you see it
an
coming.
alligator moat?
Oh, what?
No.
So
Maybe without the gators?
to help
We
you,
don't
You
have
want
any
to make it
gators?
impossible for these unarmed people to escape should we get into trouble.
to help you visualize this a little better, Ellswick has handed you a blank grid map with a few little
Pieces of wood,
yeah, like
stones,
little
and,
wooden
Oh, we get to play.
models. Okay, and he's standing around it, and he says, "You are our security experts. It does fall to you to help to defend this place, and so because of that, it falls to you somewhat to help lay it out. So please make your suggestions. I will mark them down, pass them along, and we will begin construction straight away. Some of these buildings we can have up in a day, some of them 3, 4, maybe 5. But we do have all of the equipment and supplies necessary to put this all together. So what you would like is what we will attempt to execute.
Seems to me that the entertainment and lodging might be best near the front or the entrance, so we ought to choose which way to orient the town.
Oh, for what it's worth, east is where everyone comes in from.
Okay.
The eastern edge.
Yeah, that was
And
the
Can I tell like prevailing wind for purposes of determining where the nastiest smelling things ought to reside?
interesting. Go ahead and give me either knowledge, nature, or survival. Give me survival.
Can we ask the people already here which direction the goblins have come from in the past?
The goblins. So well, yes. They will tell you that goblins have come from all directions in the past. Hang on one sec here. So that is the rough entrance to the town.
Okay.
So
An 18 survival?
okay. Yeah, so you can tell that there is no actual prevailing wind. The position that you guys are in down here in this weirdo valley, there's not a lot of wind actually that gets to you.
Okay.
So most smells tend to radiate slightly outward and mostly upward.
So perhaps it makes sense for waste removal and such that we push that away. Just thinking. And I think perhaps the merchants, the tavern might be best near the entrance to the town. Perhaps move the school wherever children may congregate away from such an area.
Real fast, I'll answer Metzi's inquiry before we continue. So Metzi, you're asking around the town, about prior goblin attacks, basically. And so you come across a guy who is covered in mud from his hands up to
I'm
past
not
his
sure if they can
elbows.
hear us right now.
Oh no, I
They
didn't.
said that.
Oh no, we lost our Brit.
Oh, okay. Well,
I thought they
bummer.
were just kind of staring forlorn.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll pause on that then for a moment until Shakes can get back to us.
Yep.
In the short term, then, please do continue with your considerations.
I guess
So
my thought, you're saying, oh, hello, welcome back.
Okay.
I don't know why my internet is being so finicky.
Because it's
because
internet.
there's an ocean.
Yeah, it does that.
Well, if you want to be logical about it.
Okay, so you are asking around the town about people who have had experience with the various different goblin-related incidents, and you come across a guy whose name is Ernst, and Ernst is a tall, angular, skinny man with mud from just covering his hands all the way up past his elbows and covering his booted and bestockinged feet and legs up past his knees. He is wearing only hosen, like the thin German pants, basically, but he's not wearing
Lederhosen.
well, not lederhosen, slightly different, just hosen.
Hose.
But basically think medieval skinny jeans.
When you say tall, is he regular person tall or is he me tall?
Regular person tall. So he's
Okay.
about 5 inches shorter than you.
Okay.
And he is shirtless. He's got an axe, and he is just chopping wood, sort of endlessly chopping firewood.
Is he hot?
Hang on.
You said shirtless and chopping wood.
No,
So-
fair. I'm willing to entertain the question. Roll 1d
Did I hear that correctly?
20.
What did you ask?
Okay, so 4 plus the average. Okay, yeah, you could say he's hot. He's got a
Oh.
he's got a 16 charisma, so not maxed, but pretty good.
So more
Nice.
like Chris Pine than Chris Hemsworth.
That's valid.
That's
That is
not
valid.
that's not my scale, but I do think I understand it. So yes,
It goes
And-
like Pratt, Evans, Pine, Hemsworth.
Hey,
Really?
wait.
No, for me, Evans
how
is
it
further
works.
up because I'm thinking like Evans in the middle of chopping wood, and then
But-
tearing a log in
Yeah.
half.
Yeah, but have you seen Hemsworth in anything ever?
Okay, Hemsworth is on top, so that doesn't
Yeah.
count. Okay.
And Chris Pine is like a hipster literature nerd. He's adorable. He grows his own vegetables and collects cardigans. I'm British. It does things, alright?
Yeah,
Fine
okay.
again.
I can see that.
I feel like I should just say something like boobs just to balance this all out. Okay, so but yes, Pine, not Hemsworth,
Okay.
and not quite
Okay.
Evans.
Okay. I'll take that.
With the assumption that Hemsworth is a 20 charisma, Evans would be an 18, Pine a 16, Pratt a 14. Although I would argue that Chris Pratt's charisma is higher, but it's just not in his appearance; it's in his personality.
Agreed.
Yeah.
But so this guy,
This was important, everyone.
Such a great conversation.
I really do hope that the stream is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so although I'm gonna blow this all out of the water with the voice because, yeah, sure, no, the goblins, they came through the night, and
Oh my god, it's Cletus.
we sure was trying to keep ourselves up afloat, but them goblins, they just came through and whooping and wallering, and they burned down all of our buildings. They kept throwing alchemist fire, and they kept exploding stuff, and I heard one of them yell Geronimo, and then it just went and then damn, half the kids was gone, which was actually pretty terrible. But we did tell them not to bring children, so I mean, I guess it's kind of like, it's their fault, but it's not really their fault because it's goblins'
No,
fault.
it's their fault.
Excuse me?
What?
It's not their fault.
Oh, okay, sure. So the goblins then, they came around. They started taking scalps which was weird. We've never seen goblins do that before. We were able to eventually get them all thrown away, but not before they burnt down the last of our buildings, and then they did it again, and again, and again. So we stopped building. We just said screw it to the whole damn thing. So we've been sitting here now for the last, I don't know, about 3 months or so. We've just been kind of hanging out, sitting around the fire. A couple of us got ourselves a still going on. We've been passing some hooch.
Very clearly not taking a bath.
And so that's been really helping us out. No, we don't have any way to take a bath because they keep blowing up our plumbing. So we keep trying to make like
Does it
little.
not rain here?
I mean, it does rain, sure, and sometimes when that happens, but you got to understand, if you're wearing a bunch of moldy-ass clothes, and then it rains, and then the clothes dry while they're on top of you still, it doesn't come out all that well. So
Prestidigitation.
he is magically clean, and it's unbelievable how much of a difference that makes. I'm tempted.
I'm going to be doing that a lot.
I'm tempted to have his
Do
voice change.
it.
Oh, yes, thank you very much.
Wait, are you implying Southerners are dirty?
Which is why I'm actually gonna go back to the accent, but for the purposes of the 1 moment gag, it's worth it.
Tapping out.
Yeah.
I'm broken.
Anyway, so
I love those.
I think this whole bit is offensive to my Texan culture.
I mean,
Sounds more North Carolinian to me.
for what it's worth, I've got family. I am, from Phoenix, and I have family in New Mexico.
I think it's funny. I'm just joking.
Oh, my.
Hey, I mean, the amount of American jokes I've been holding back this whole time, I think I should get them.
Sure. Plus,
Don't hold that back.
I've got a lot of family in Floridian panhandly trailer parks, so I mean,
What?
Panhandle, the panhandle part of Florida, the not awesome
Has a
part of
handle?
Florida. Yes, they don't teach them as panhandles in British
We just learned
geography
that
classes.
Florida is where people go to retire, and it has swamps. That's
So-
it. That's all I've got.
Okay, so
We just learned the 50 states.
okay,
That's
so
everything.
the panhandle is the part up to the top that connects to the mainland. If you imagine like the whole thing is like a cooking pot, a vaguely phallic shaped cooking pot, then
Yeah. So yeah, we did learn that, but we learned it as like the ball sack.
Okay, so this would be like the taint.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah, it's extra.
Wow.
It's extra swampy and gross up there.
Well, it is the ball sack. It works out well.
Wow.
Hey, stream, how's it going, everybody? Wasn't it worth the wait today? Yeah. So he continues. So we've just been sitting here for the last little while now. We've been passing some hooch around. We was just kind of waiting, basically, because we realized that there really wasn't a whole hell of a lot that we could get done if the goblins was just going to come around and destroy it every single night. I mean, them gobbos, they're little. You can kick and punch probably 4 or 5 of them on your own without too much of trouble. But they was coming in like 50, 60, 70, 80 of them. I really lost count. Once you look around and it just looks like a whole damn carpet of goblins, you just kind of go, all right, shit.
Fair enough.
Thank you, Ernest. But we are here now to help.
Yeah.
Well,
We
that's
really like
We are
squishing
here
goblins.
to help.
Yeah.
thank you. So that's Ernst.
They're here to help.
We are. All of us. All of us.
All of us.
Queen
Yeah.
Metzgirl, it doesn't make more sense with explanation.
It really doesn't. That's why I didn't try.
Okay.
Sorry, Kim. We don't know.
Oh no.
Alright, so, which buildings do we want to build first?
I'd say housing was a pretty big priority. They're living in... I'm not even going to call them sheds.
there are, by the way, enough it's a small enough grouping of people here at the moment. Like, so I only gave you 6 buildings. One of them will be housing, and it'll be
Like a dormitory almost.
essentially, yeah. It can easily house basically the whole village for now until you guys have stabilized enough that people can take the time to build their own individual homes.
Are there any children left?
Yes, actually. There's about so out of a population of about 70 total people, there are 15 children.
That's
Okay.
way too high.
And
All
then
rolling around in the mud.
and that includes a
You
few.
have your kids, I have mine, okay?
And that
Mine
includes.
don't eat people.
that
But
includes.
you're not even a people.
Tabaxi
Whoa.
are people too.
Whoa.
Go.
Whoa.
Oh.
I meant human,
Whoa.
but there we go.
Non-humans
Sounds like
are
anything
people
like
too.
You're the only human here.
I know.
Step off.
I am not
Not a
human, you
people.
will.
Oh.
So
I entirely was picturing like humans, and I was like, "But you're not even a human. Well, how are they your children?"
I have
You
told
I say is I
I
adopted a goblin.
Yeah. Right.
She adopted
Anyway,
an ogre.
So, some of those children are ones that came with you guys on the caravan. And when
Okay.
I say children, I'm saying everyone ranging from like 0 to about 16, 17.
Mm-hmm.
So
the ones that can pull their weight. Okay.
right, exactly.
From 0.
Yeah. Well, if you're not a year old yet, you're 0 years old.
No, he said pull their weight.
Oh,
0.
well, it really depends
I
on the
can
kind
tell
of
you
society.
right now, 1-year-old is good as one thing, and that's a doorstop. That's it.
Or a quick late night snack if you're desperate.
I will hurt Leech if he even comes in near them.
He only likes them. Okay,
Each
never mind.
go for the really shrieky ones.
I have a really good Eldritch Blast now. He best not.
Uh, so
Other children all human? Are the settlers all human?
no,
or is it
no,
diverse?
it's a bit of a mix. You are the only Tabaxi, but it's primarily humans and half elves with a couple of halflings and dwarves and gnomes, but not very much of any of those. There are no full elves aside from Findalar.
Mm-hmm.
With expeditions like this, your understanding is typically that you're really not supposed to bring children with you, but at the same time, often the only way that they can actually entice people to go to these out of the way places is if they present it as a settling, westward expansion kind of opportunity, right? So that being the case, then people bring their family. Not always. Sometimes they'll come out on their own and then send for their families later. But that can be just as complicated in its own way. So a lot of the time, enterprising people trying to make their mark in the world will bring their families with them to the new place and try to make a go of it. With just the understanding that it could be catastrophic if it does not go well. So you guys get to decide what each of these buildings is. You should be able to... Oh, hang on. Let me try to get rid of that little marking I accidentally just made. You should, I believe, when you click on them, do you see a little gear?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we can label them, yes.
Okay, good. So you'll need to click the show nameplate checkbox, but you guys can decide which one is which. Like, which building is what.
I imagine City Hall would be the smallest because you don't really need that much stuff when you don't have a city. It's it's not even a hamlet. It's basically just someone's back garden at the moment.
It's a small...
So we don't really need, we don't need that big of a city hall. It's pretty much just going to be Elswick doing paperwork.
A small hall.
It just has to be tall. Tall.
So
Toll hole.
tall hall.
Tall. Sorry for just moving things around.
So it's a small tall hall.
Small toll hole.
But
All right, so
could
kind of
could you?
Oh.
Sorry, what? Go
No,
ahead.
go for it.
No, go.
No.
I'm just playing around with layouts, being like, hmm.
And I was still kind of thinking about what Finn was proposing earlier, that the living quarters and the school should be closest to the entrance. But kind of thinking defensively, I kind of think it should be the opposite. That we should
That's
have.
what I said. The merchant and the tavern should be closest to the entrance. And
Oh,
the
I must
school
have.
and the housing should
Saw
be
nothing.
furthest away. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. I must have just misheard.
The problem with that is, though, there's no one point. There is no one point where all the goblins like to attack, even though the entrance where the road is to the east. The goblins come from everywhere, so there's no good.
This is
solution.
why we'll need to create defensive structures so that we can drive them where we want them.
So the living quarters could maybe be more
The
central.
worst thing to defend ever. I mean, you're in the bottom of a valley. It is the worst place to defend ever. Your only chance of keeping it defended is being able to see them coming. So we need to be building perimeter defenses, and we need to be building watchtowers, because that's our best chance.
Agreed, Mitzi.
Is anyone good
And
at
if there's
traps?
any cover, we need to cut it back.
I'm proficient in survival
Yeah, likewise.
for some reason.
I am not.
Survival, stealth, athletics are my main. Perception, insight.
So this building I just moved to the entrance. Do we want that to be a living quarters, maybe? Because I'm thinking that because that's the biggest one.
Yeah, that seems right.
But I don't know if I'd put the housing right at the front entrance of
No,
town.
just-
That's-
So we
No.
know which one is which.
No, I think we're just picking buildings.
I'd put maybe
Gotcha.
the tavern and the city hall at the front. Because if we do get attacked from the front, they're probably one of the, the least problematic to lose.
I think this, with Mitzi, in that the school and the city hall should be our smallest buildings.
I
Least
agree.
used by the fewest number of people. We'll need room for stores, we'll need room for lumber, we'll need room for housing.
And logistically, having the tavern and the city hall at the entrance to town could make the most sense, because when you're just getting there, that could be information hotspots.
I don't think the tavern has to be that big either. But I don't like
Eh.
fun, so.
What else is
Well, like-
there to do?
Like tavern and
Like the inn?
Yeah, there we go. So when you
If
get
you like that sort of thing.
when new adventurers get to town, they come, they check in at the inn, they go to the city hall, they get jobs, and then they do whatever.
Yeah, I like
Hopefully
that.
become productive members of society.
No, they get killed and we take their jobs. But
But that's what they think when they're getting there. That's the plan.
You have an interesting life philosophy.
Thanks.
it does depend on the kind of tavern Corsair, thank you.
Yeah.
Well,
Right.
since we're building it, don't we get to pick what kind it is?
True.
Mhm.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Do we
I'd
have
say this one could probably be City Hall because it's tiny, and Ellswick doesn't really need that much room to do his thing.
I agree.
Yeah,
Oh, we
no.
agreed. Ah,
Are we
Sorry, I'm
expecting tourists?
I'm
Well,
trying to
not
erase my.
necessarily tourists, but more people are supposed to eventually come and settle here.
In theory,
and
Hopefully.
they,
But I think for our needs at the moment, we should be careful in how much space we allot to things we don't need. We can always build and add on.
now how about this one with the little guard tower built onto it, the one that Bryn's right next to? It
this
looks
one.
like a guard tower. Yeah. Oh, the guard
Mm.
towers, cool.
Yes, I'm
Does it
giving you...
actually have a guard tower, dear? Or is that just a picture? Oh! Oh, I see them now.
Yeah,
Never mind.
I'm actually
Aw.
giving you guard towers. So that
They're
thing
so cute.
that you're looking at is it is a spire of some kind.
Yeah.
Like it is a fortification on that building. Yes.
Oh, okay.
That could be our central building, I guess, because I remember Wiley said you
Perhaps
wanted.
yes, in the center.
Yeah. And then we could just put these guys wherever.
Mm.
Okay, but what is that building though?
Perhaps that could be the stores, the mercantile.
I'm thinking if it's already got a guard tower, it could probably be housing, because that's what we're going to want to protect. There's no point protecting stores if we've got no people.
That's true.
And also,
The stores have all the shiny things.
yes, but these have the people.
That's true. That's true. We do like people.
Bren.
Gotcha. I'm on board.
There we go.
All right. Oh, the chat.
Sorry, yes.
Oh jeez.
I'm sorry, the people have
Perhaps-
spoken.
Perhaps a tavern might look nice at the entrance. In the city hall across from it.
I like
I like
that.
that. Okay, I'll go with that.
Mm-hmm.
Perhaps the school to the north.
Oh, where is that?
That could be a school, yeah.
Oh.
Lumberyard.
I somewhat accidentally
towel
found
in
out
the
how
back.
to move things together.
Yes, if you draw a box and then...
Oh,
So I am slowly giving you... I have to do them individually. I had thought that I could just do them as a group.
Mhm.
But I cannot, in fact, give you permissions for them as a group. So...
which is good.
it is a little frustrating. But we're working it out. So...
Yeah.
We're all learning. It's also really interesting that we're all like moving things at the same time. So I just see
Yes.
things like zoom across the screen.
Yeah, I'm trying to move these little guard towers.
Yeah, me too. That's who I'm fighting.
Well, so the ones that I move off to the left are the ones that you guys have permissions for.
Okay.
All of the buildings, all the main buildings in the center, and then the guard towers just around the perimeter.
Yeah.
With our housing with the defensible spire right in the middle.
The
I
center
like
here.
that.
I like that. And then that.
And the
tavern.
two buildings up front are the tavern, and the little one is the city hall.
Mm-hmm.
And then we said the L-shaped one was the lumberyard.
Probably.
All the towers are released to you.
Yay. Excellent.
The one to the north to the school. And then
Okay, I'm gonna stop moving stuff.
that building to the west can just be the mall.
That'll be like the mercantile.
Yeah, that's the word.
And you might even put that up front as well and move the housing. Well, move the lumberyard to the back. I don't know. Just picturing when eventually when this thing is established, people enter town, they're gonna want to get stores, do business, have a drink, so on and so forth.
Mostly the drink.
Yes. I'm being difficult. No.
Ooh. You spun it. Look how fancy. Our town looks so nice.
Town building
Wait,
shit
there's-
is my jam.
Well, then I'm glad that we could have this opportunity.
I'm the person who I hate like doing interior designing stuff. When I play The Sims, I hate designing houses. They never have wallpaper or decorations. They only have what they
Aw.
need. But I love playing games like SimCity,
Okay.
where you get like more macro designing.
Yeah.
And then the caravan, they came with their own soldiers, and some of them, yeah, so they can man the watchtowers.
I think one more of these from the bottom should go up to the top. I think we're a little unbalanced.
What are these?
What or what?
Mistakes.
I actually don't even see what you're clicking on.
We have 3 little green boxes with a building in it.
Are those like silos or?
I can't see.
I don't think they were supposed to be there.
I can't see what you see.
I drew a
It's
shape
secret
around them.
for us.
That is really weird. How is it that you can see something that I can't see?
We have special eyes.
We have dark vision.
Yeah, so the answer is those. Weird. That is so weird. Why do you get to see that?
Because they're ours.
They're ours.
You can't have them.
What I'm trying to see is. Okay.
You have
No.
macaroni? Share.
No.
Macaroni.
Someone say macaroni?
Yes.
No. Weird. Okay,
Raven and Sean had
so the
macaroni.
answer is whatever. So those things don't exist because I can't see them or interact with them, so they're not
So
there.
are
That's
we
weird.
having like mass hysteria hallucinations
Yeah,
Yes.
about those
so.
things?
So you posted. Thank you for showing me that screen capture. That is just the most bizarre damn thing I've ever seen. Throck, if you're still watching the stream, if you have any idea, my players can see something that I cannot, which I don't even know how that happens in Roll20.
We took the blue pill.
Something. Photoshop. Fake news. It's fake news.
I'm from the future, so it's Tuesday here.
You are in the land of tomorrow. Ooh.
They're just.
It's a different country. We do things differently here.
It's true. Zooming in, they look like really small houses.
Okay, and maybe they were like mistakes that I attempted to put on there and then wasn't able to keep.
They've been here since before the other buildings were here.
Well,
they've
then
been here
I
a
don't
while.
know.
No, actually, they were like the 3rd edition. There were 2 other buildings before those because I was watching him place them.
Yeah,
And
but it was the
complaining about
restaurant
trying
and
to
the other
do
place.
3.
Their elder buildings don't listen to what they have to say to you. They will lead you down the path of madness. You will eat your
Red
fingers.
rum, red rum, red
So
rum.
what you're saying
I
is
want to
that-
sleep there.
All right. So, how are we feeling about the way we currently have the town set up?
Good.
How do we?
I
Make
think
the
Which
my
social
one
buildings
comment
are which?
is
So,
how do we make the building labels show up?
Can we label?
if you click on a building, so click on a building,
it?
and then do you see the little gearbox?
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
you click the little gearbox, and so like for the tavern, you named it, but do you have
Oh, yeah.
a little box above it that says show nameplate, or do only I have
No.
that? Okay.
I think only you have that.
Okay. So then,
That's what I was
Oh, there we
confused.
go.
and so now that
The
one
tavern's been labeled.
is labeled tavern
Mm-hmm.
and show nameplate. So I had
There's the school.
thought that perhaps housing, lumberyard.
Oh, okay. The
Mercantile.
label for housing was showing up on the roof of the other place, and I was like, wait, what? But it's the boundary of
Gotcha.
the tile. Yeah, okay.
Mercantile
Okay.
and city hall. Okay.
I
So
still feel like the watchtowers are not necessarily evenly distributed.
they're
That's
not.
like right next to each other down here.
There are
Where?
quite a few to the south.
Oh, there's two
Down in the
more that
bottom,
I did not
there's-
see. Yeah, there's two more that I
Oh,
didn't see.
okay. Because I was like, we made like a big perimeter, and then
Yeah.
suddenly there's more in the like an inner perimeter.
You're just
Yeah,
really
there
worried
was-
about that corner.
There was two I didn't see while I was.
That is a suspicious corner.
Yeah.
I got bad vibes from that corner.
You heard some of the shrubbery talking.
Again.
Hmm
Me.
And then I know we have this like red little box defining
Yeah.
like the entrance to the town.
You can
but
build
can we
in
still
that.
put one in it?
Yeah. All I did there was to give you an idea of the rough size of the path as it
So-
empties into the town.
It doesn't have to be symmetrical.
I think
It's
someone
okay.
and I are fighting over the same one. What is the range on the towers is being asked.
So, Yeg, the range on the towers is, frankly, quite a lot further than the towers themselves actually are. It's based on the sight range of people in a flat plane, so realistically, the towers are about 30 to 45 feet tall, so they can see pretty much the entire bowl that the village is in. It's more a
Get
question
out
of
from under
like
the house.
I
line
don't
of
want that.
line of sight as it relates to like where attackers might be coming from.
I'm really bad at this. I keep moving buildings. I
Realistically,
just
they
want to
could
move
probably
myself.
do with about half the total number of towers that I've given them, but the people in
We need
this,
them.
well, the people
We
in
want them.
the people in the village are desperate to do anything that feels like taking control over their situation. All right. So once you have the town layout generally figured out, Ellswick takes a look at this. Yes, I do believe that this will be entirely satisfactory. Now then, Glory, Brenly, you do have one more issue, particularly facing the two of you, I believe. Although, Findalar, I have a few people who will need to speak with you as well. Metzi, I'm afraid I don't have anyone currently yet recruited towards your pursuits. So, as far as I'm concerned, you have the afternoon to yourself. But the other three have recruits they need to look after, train, and give assignments to.
Very well, sir.
Do we have a Mulan training montage?
Not quite. So first off, I'll tell. So for you three, Ellswick takes you towards the center of town as it currently exists in the mud pit, and he hands. Let's see. He'll hand Glory a list written on parchment, and he will hand a just a small strip of paper over to Finn. Findalar, there are two young lads who are capable of assisting you. They've been mostly spending their time hunting and trapping while they've been here, but they are, I believe, capable scouts as well. So if you would like to take it upon yourself to perhaps establish a scouting organization or whatever that looks like, please feel free to do so. The two young lads are 17 and 15. They're brothers. You should be able to find them over with their family, just over that way.
Excellent. I will do so.
Glory,
Do you know if they're any good with a bow?
you'll have to ask them.
Yes, ma'am.
Very well.
And he twitches, of course, when you say mayor. My neck hurts right now, so I can't properly twitch. But so, Glory, you have 15 possible recruits. It's up to you to decide whether or not they meet your expectations. But they would all like to volunteer to help with the city watch in order to prevent future attacks and to fight them off. I have assembled them here, and he points, he sort of gestures, and you realize now that the group of just sort of like dejected, slack-shouldered rabble that are all like sitting cross-legged in the mud are actually sitting vaguely in formation. And as he gestures, they all stand up, mud dripping off of them, and a few of them give you sort of a half-hearted kind of salute.
Glory's kind of like,
You're...
do they all have their equipment and their gear with them right now? Ish.
What? Yes, they do. They have everything currently that they have available.
That means nothing, doesn't it?
Yep.
Okay.
So
I'm gonna go get some logs from the lumberyard.
Ellswick looks at you and he says, "You're the captain now," and then he sort of scuttles away.
Captain Glory.
We brought some armaments and things, didn't we?
Yes, you did.
I
And
actually.
Yeah, I've got stuff I'm not using.
Well, I also was going to say, in our treasure or what have you that I've been collecting, we were given some number of shitty short swords from the goblins that we've slain.
that's true.
Literally shitty.
I'd be willing to
It
say that you
is.
have 15 of them. Sure.
Okay. So, but that's still better than nothing, or better than brandishing a log
In mud.
in mud.
Okay.
Sharper than
Actually.
mud.
So
Okay.
Probably.
Everyone, follow. Everyone, follow me. And she's trying really hard to sound important.
Brenly follows
Glory's-
you.
Glory's going to lead them to the lumberyard, hand each of them not a big, huge log, but a weight of wood. And we're just going to run laps around the city for the rest of the day. Or not the rest
Tire
of the day.
everyone
but,
out.
What?
I said you're going to tire
Breaking them
everyone
in.
out before the attack.
Breaking them in.
out of curiosity, has anyone here read The Way of Kings by Brandon Sanderson?
Yes.
Okay.
Brandon Sanderson is my husband's favorite author.
Okay. He's one of mine. I just got a very Bridge 4 vibe off of
So
this,
the
Yes. Anyway.
exactly the bridge runners.
I'll add that to my list.
You absolutely should add that to your list. And I assume you all heard Portia in the background shouting.
We heard the voice of God.
We heard the
Yes,
voice.
the voice of God. Yes. Okay, so yeah, they run laps. They're really bad at it. Just phenomenally bad at it. They trip, they fall, they drop their logs on each other, and then trip and then fall over en masse. But by the end of the day, you get it to where they can pretty routinely run about 40 to 50 feet before someone drops a log, which is an improvement, a 1,000% improvement on where you began the day. So that is what you guys are doing. Now, Brenly, I'll just kind of tie off your thing right now. So what are you doing while the logging is happening? Are you training with? Are you assisting? Are you...
I was gonna say she'd either be running with them and be really encouraging and yeah, we got this, come on, let's go, and be a little cheerleader.
Okay.
But also she's carrying 4 of them and running backwards, so I don't know if it's really helping.
We can do this. We can totally do this. Juggle, juggle, juggle. Yeah.
Yeah. Acting like it's all really easy, so they actually feel worse about themselves. But she thinks she's helping.
Yeah.
Captain Glory and Lieutenant Bren.
Yep.
We have
Yeah.
so much hope right now.
Also, can you say
We're in charge.
Lieutenant again?
Yes, please.
Lieutenant.
Thank you.
But with my name.
Lieutenant Bren.
Thank you.
I love it. It's beautiful.
Am I missing something?
Nope.
So
We just love you.
there's a certain poetry to Lieutenant that the Americanized version lieutenant.
Oh yes, you say lieutenant, don't you?
Right.
Yes.
Whereas
You
lieutenant
funny people.
harkens back to just a lovely sort of a naval colonialism. Yes. Anyway.
In lieu of actually having any
Yes.
linguistic skill.
Oh, you poor colonials.
All right, so I will go to Wiley now, and then Shakes. You're going to be last, but you have the most, sort of the greatest amount of free time. So, all right, so over to Findalar. Findalar,
Yep.
what you doing?
I go track down my 2 young charges.
Okay.
And introduce myself. Greetings, I'm Findalar.
Well, hang on. Hang on. You're being a little presumptuous. So, you attempt to track down your 2 young charges, and you cannot find them immediately where Elswick indicated they would be.
Okay.
Roll.
Are their parents there or anyone?
Roll survival.
Getting there.
Okay. Based on the direction of direction and size of footprints you can see in the ever-present mud, it looks like 2 people, roughly appropriate size, have wandered off towards the southwest, headed towards the hills.
Very good. I will immediately set about tracking them down.
Okay.
With quarterstaff and dog.
Okay. You're going for about like half an hour, 45 minutes or so. The dog is pretty happy about everything that's happening right now because he's walking, and he's walking with his master, and he's getting to walk, and there's all sorts of shit to smell, and he's walking with his master, and oh my god, he's walking, and he's really happy about all of that. And I need from you... well, really from both of you, perception rolls. I'll roll for Doggo.
I'm so taken with the dog that I forget that I'm supposed to be looking for people.
So the dog stops and sort of points towards a tree and is not moving.
Okay. I'll give him a scratch, and I will have already started to carry little bits of meat, dried meat, in a pouch, and I'll give him a bit of that and go investigate the tree. Very well, Thalion. Good boy.
How do you go about investigating the tree?
I'm going to see if the footprints lead over there.
So you can't see any of the footprints anymore, which is how you sort of generally lost track by this point. The footprints, it looks like the ground hardened up, and the boys probably started paying better attention.
Mm-hmm.
But give me, well, okay, go ahead, give me another perception roll. No. So, yeah, I mean, you're not entirely certain exactly where they are. Like, you're looking around the tree, Mm-hmm. And then, what is your AC?
It is 15.
Okay.
I love these children.
You are...
Shitty little bastards.
You are assaulted by an acorn bouncing off of your head.
Nice.
Kids are all right.
And then you hear a young person's voice yell, "Get the elf!" And then you are landed on by a
Nice.
15-year-old boy. Go ahead and give me a... Are you better at strength or dex?
Dex.
Okay, so give me a dex save?
Very
Sure,
well.
we'll call it a dex save. All right. So he lands roughly where you were, but you are no longer there. Yeah, exactly. You're able to step out of the way.
Yeah.
He lands on his feet, and you can see a young fairly thin boy wearing brown tattered clothing. He is barefoot and just covered in all kinds of mud, save for bright sun-bleached blonde hair and reflective blue eyes. And he's looking at you and he's like, almost had you.
I'll put my quarterstaff, if I get a reaction, I'll put my quarterstaff right in his chest. Not attack him with it, just put it right there. Kind of defensive.
And he kind of, like, when you tap him on the chest, he goes, and he falls on the ground.
Ah, well met, young lad. Very nice. And where's your brother? In the tree as well, I suppose. And I'll look up.
Hey, Aaron, come down. And the older one will climb his way down.
Ah, nicely done. Nicely done, lads. And I'll offer my hand. Findala Elbane. Udelf Ranger.
The older one shakes your hand. He says, "Hi, I'm Aaron." Aaron, by the way, looks very much like his younger brother, except his hair is black and his eyes are green. Both boys are actually
humans.
Say again.
These are both humans.
Yeah, they're both human. Aaron and Joey.
How are we spelling Aaron? Because I have it sounds like Aaron, and I'm confused.
Okay.
Aaron.
Aaron. Okay. Yep. Got it.
Well met, gentlemen. As I mentioned, I'm Findala Elbane, and I'll be helping you learn the ways of the wilds and to use a longbow and to help defend the village.
All right.
Let us return. This is Thalion, my mastiff companion.
Hey, how's it going? And Thalion will sniff both boys, and then after sniffing them, he looks at you. And then he starts licking them. And then the boys and the dog play around for a little bit, and then they follow you back to town.
Very nice.
Or wherever it is that you're going. Whether you're going.
We're going to go back to the village.
Okay. All right.
Now that I've caught my 2 young scamps.
Give them some dog biscuits.
Right. Yeah.
So what do you do with Aaron and Joe? Like, do you converse on the way back, or?
Yeah, I want to just. What is it you know about this region and where the goblins come from? We are going to be tasked with defending the village. I wish to know all I can, and I wish to teach you all I can.
Aaron will do most of the talking. Joey pipes up with little details here and there. Their responses sound like, Aaron will say, well, we know that it's not very defendable, but there's some pretty good hunting. We found a lot of mice and voles, weasels, and rabbits. Joey will pipe in. And rabbits. We tried catching some birds, but they're all pretty quick around here.
What's of any larger game, deer?
We've seen
sheep?
some, but Pa wouldn't let us take the bow, so we've just been making little snares. And Joey says, I like string. I have lots of string.
Very nice. Well, perhaps we can teach you how to use that bow and get you another one.
Yeah.
We'll need to sharpen your skills quickly if we're to defend the village, and I think you'll like the plan we've laid out.
Okay.
As to how we wish to arrange the village.
Cool. So, are you you're like a real elf, huh?
I am indeed an elf of the forest.
Cool.
And you're like a real lad of the mud. Yes.
Yeah.
Lad of the mud.
Yeah.
I have a friend that will take care of that when we reach the village.
Well, Pa.
Do you like cats?
Pa always used to tell us that you want to smell like the forest if you're going to catch something in the forest.
Agreed. Your Pa is wise. Was his name Ernst by chance?
Say again?
Is his name Ernst by chance?
No, Ernst. No, that's our uncle.
I see.
Yeah.
Very nice. Lovely man.
Thanks.
Well, do you like cats?
Cats?
Yes.
I mean, They're okay, I guess.
I have a companion I wish for you to meet named Metzi.
Yeah? Okay.
Yes.
You want us to track
Yes.
Metzi?
No need to track Metzi.
Okay.
As a reminder, Metzi can summon that equitable at will now.
Yeah.
So, you know, I'm not here.
And did I also read demons?
Yeah, I don't
Yes.
know.
Oh, yeah.
Don't want to know.
Metzi does have a very poisonous snake, though.
All right. So
You have a snake?
you and the
The
boys
children
will
want to meet the snake.
make your way back to the village. What do you, once you get there, what is your primary plan?
I think I'd like to meet their family and just briefly tell mom and dad that I'll be taking care of them from the
Okay.
perspective of getting them trained and ready to defend and hunt and scout.
Okay.
Get that bow and get a bow for the younger boy from our stores
Okay. So
and set about training them.
So you get back, and they'll take you back to their hovel, and it's actually just Pa, and they literally introduce him as, hey, so Findelar, this here's Pa Findelar, and their father does not correct the name at any point, so he.
That's his name.
Ah,
Pa?
Sure.
Well, I met Pa.
Yeah.
I'll sweep my hood back and give him all the honor as if he were royalty.
So
Well,
he's
my friend.
older human, and he is a cripple. One of his legs is missing just above the knee, and he has a fairly crude wooden peg affixed, but he seems to be in a pretty good shape for a human being in probably his mid to late 50s.
Pa, I say, can you shoot a bow and arrow?
Yes, I can. I am one of the best around, but afraid I can't get in range of much of anything anymore. That's why I've been teaching the boys what I've been teaching.
I'll just bet you would do well from a high position in a fixed location, though.
Sure shit, yeah. You need a sniper? I can do that.
Consider yourself hired, my good man.
Excellent. What's it pay? Do you know?
are we paying?
Survival, I believe, is the currency of the day.
That's a good currency. It's worth a lot to me. All right. Which tower you want me in?
Understand that you've not fared too well in that department recent weeks. So.
Well, they haven't gotten into this hovel, I'll tell you that. But, I mean, why would they want to?
Indeed. Well meant indeed, friend.
So you're the elf who's going to be taking my boys out and showing them the world?
Yes, sir, I am. And I pledge I will take good care of them and not a hair on their head shall be harmed while they're in my care.
Oh, if a couple of hairs get harmed, that's fine. They'll learn.
Understood.
All right. So, yeah, show me the way to my tower. And Aaron, Joey, don't give this guy too much trouble. Elsewise, you're going to answer back to me. You know that, right? And both boys, very solemnly sort of nod. And yeah.
Boys, let us go rig a device to help your father in and out of the the platform, so that he isn't stuck there once we get him there. So we'll set off with a little block and tackle, kind of a seat up and down, so that he can get in and out of the platform.
Accessibility pulley rig. Nice.
Yeah, and I think we'll put him, since he's so immobile, we'll put him in the center platform, so that he wouldn't be, overrun by something coming in on the perimeter and unable to escape.
Okay.
Very.
All right. So I'm going to go ahead and say that takes up most of your day. Does that work for you?
Perfect.
Okay. So, Metzi, you have a day. You have no one to train, no specific tasks to perform, and you have time to yourself, which might be dangerous. But it is your time to do with as you please. So what would you like to do for the day?
How long would it take me to run the perimeter where we've set up the towers, that nice little circle?
So it's about a 3-hour. No, that's ridiculous. It's about a. It's about an hour or so around the whole town, and that's assuming that you're walking at a fairly leisurely pace. You're pretty sure that if you wanted to really step it up, you could probably make it in half hour, maybe 20 minutes if you had a real good like headwind or
Yeah.
whatever. Like we're just feeling especially squirrely.
Okay, so I'm doing that intermittently through the day, just stopping and taking about an hour to do the perimeter and just keep an eye.
Okay.
Because I'm paranoid as fuck. In between doing that, I'm heading over to the school to meet the 15 children.
Ah, okay.
And it's best that the others aren't around because my demeanor changes a lot around smaller, more vulnerable. I don't mind if they pet me. I don't mind if they grab my tail. I am just sat in the school doing prestidigitation and making sparks and making, nice smells and just basically letting them be kids.
Okay.
I'm very small.
So
Vulnerable was the word.
I
Vulnerable.
see a schoolmaster. I'm a schoolmaster.
I take a couple of hours to help the older ones with their letters, with whatever curriculum they have put together in this, what I don't really want to call a town. When I'm not doing that, at some point I will try and find the mothers, because there's always mothers in a frontier town, and I will offer to help out with anything they have. Anything they're doing, if they're cleaning, if they're cooking, anything.
So before you get to that point, while you're in the school, you realize there are no adults here. The kids have all congregated where they're expected to be, and there's about 11 of them that are here at the moment. The youngest one is 7. The oldest one is 13. Your suspicion is that if there are any that are younger, they're probably still with their parents, and any older are probably out and about helping in some way. But so the 11 or so kids that are here entirely without supervision. And as you're hanging out with them, at one point, one of the kids asked the obvious question. A little half-elf girl will look up at you and say, "Are you our teacher?"
Not yet. Do you have a teacher?
I don't think so.
Then we'll see.
You smell like cinnamon.
Thank you.
Can I pet you?
Is it a good smell?
Yeah.
And I make, I'm use prestidigitation and make like a little puff of like cinnamon and fresh bread smells. It's
the kids are very interested in that. Okay. So, yeah. So is that how you spend your whole day then?
Pretty much.
Okay.
Just helping out with the domestic stuff.
Sure.
And running the perimeter.
Okay. And the kids will follow you when you run the perimeter, by the way.
I will be running it a lot slower, and I will be so looking after them, like anything even appears in my periphery, and it's like...
Yeah. So
he's like a mommy duck.
So the kids do okay.
I am carrying like the 7-year-old and 8-year-old like on my shoulders.
Sure.
Like, stay close to me, children.
The kids keep up actually
we see this?
pretty well.
Not if I can help it.
No, I'm gonna say that you guys don't see this. People
see this offside.
People in the village do see this, but you guys don't firsthand because you're busy running around your own track.
Yeah, they're on the other side of...
Would any of the children notice the thing that I tried to conceal, DM, with my binding mark?
No,
Okay,
no, at least not yet.
because I would be trying to hide that from the children as well.
Yeah, they are inquisitive, but anything that you intend to hide will stay hidden.
Okay.
They are mostly just extremely happy to have someone who is there to pay attention to them and to help them, and also who smells like cinnamon and makes little sparks. As they're running around,
I've cleaned them all, by the way. Prestidigitation, they're all clean.
Oh, awesome. So the parents now love you. You're the best teacher they've ever had, because their kids come back to them cleaner than when they sent them. And for anyone out there who understands exactly how sticky children can be.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
So the kids, as you're running around the perimeter, like, the kids will do things like they'll ask, like, especially by like the third or fourth time, like, why are we doing this?
We're doing this to keep everyone safe.
How does this keep people safe?
Well, because the earlier you spot trouble, the earlier we can stop it.
So we should be looking for trouble?
Yeah, if you see anything moving on the horizon, way off to those trees, let me know.
The kids all become suddenly very serious, and as they're running, you can see that they're, like, looking around, and they have no idea where to look, so some of them are, like, looking straight up, and, you know, or, like, back into the village, but as you're running, like, they are looking. Every once in a while, someone will trip because they're looking somewhere else, but they pick
And
them.
I will pick them up.
Okay.
Like, immediately just backtrack and pick them up.
All right. And they get up and thank you, and then they keep going. And they're all, like, now that you've explained it, they're all totally on board with the plan. They want to help too.
Mm-hmm. Awesome.
On the other side of town, opposite from where you are, you hear Gloria using Thama, like, "Come on, let's go! You can do it! Keep up! You can do it! Go, run!" Just in a big booming voice.
Awesome. All right. So, let me just see, and I do just want to see. Okay. It is, so I realized that we ate up about 45 minutes of runtime. So we can continue, but it is getting to 9 o'clock. Do you want to continue, or do you want to pause? I know that this question is biggest for Metzi because they're on the other side of the ocean into the land of tomorrow.
I'm fine if anyone needs to take a break, but I'd rather just keep going, just because that way I get to bed sooner.
Okay.
But I'm good with keeping going.
Okay. Everyone else?
Okay.
Yeah, I'm good. I was just gonna default to Shakespeare.
Okay.
Yeah, same.
All right.
Power!
So we'll keep going for.
I changed my mind. I vote the opposite of whatever Shakespeare says, so that I cancel it out. Your vote nullified.
That's exactly how that works.
By the way, so are we happy with how the all the little bits look right now? Like the.
Yes.
I think so.
Okay. So let me see. I think, although maybe I don't want to try to get this fancy. You know what? No, I'm not gonna try to do anything fancy. If you accidentally move a building, just please move it back.
I keep doing it because, like, the perimeter of the building is on top of my token.
Yeah.
And so I'm trying to move myself, and I keep moving buildings.
Okay. So,
I had to move a building out of the way to get my token out.
Yeah, same.
okay, so hang on then. Let me see what I can do.
Do we want to lock the buildings where we are then?
Well, that's what I'm working on doing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Take away my permissions. I give them back. I don't want them. I'm not responsible enough for this.
I would love to play with the little plastic houses that Elsa would keep me like.
Monopoly houses.
The merchants that we escorted into town, are they more wealthy than the people already? I mean, I know the people already there in hovel, but are they carrying wealth? Are they very obviously toffee?
There's at least one group of them, a big furniture company. They have like
Yeah.
6 whole wagons.
So,
Yeah.
sorry, you presented me with something new while I was trying to stick to that. So, unfortunately, we lost our little labels, but you guys should no longer be able to interact with the buildings.
Oh, that's okay.
This should be
We know which ones are which.
stuck there, right? So, and what I'll do is I'll take this and make it into a more permanent thing now. But I wanted to give you the freeform opportunity to mess with it on your own first. So.
That's cool.
Okay, so everything should be good there. So that was day 1. Well, specifically, I suppose really it's like day 3. So it gets into nighttime. How do you want to handle the evening? Most of the people head towards the barracks area, although a few of them do still seem to prefer to chill in their hovel tent things. The people who all came in on the caravans have lined up their caravans in a circle. Just hang on, I'm not going to bother pulling up. So they're in a circle like over here, if you can see that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And so they've put the caravans over there, and they're because the town isn't obviously it's not fully built yet, right? Like you've just figured out roughly where you want most things to be, and then some skeletons for buildings were placed. But what it is right now in most of these cases is there's like a floor, and there's there's like posts around where the corners will end up being, and some support structure and maybe some roofing. But nothing at all permanent in most of these spots.
Mm-hmm.
The towers, for the most part, are constructed because they're quick to build. The townspeople were able to actually build all of those over the course of about a day and a half. But they're also not extremely defensible. Like they're basically just sort of wooden huts on stilts. Okay. So they work for their job, but like they're not like stone fortifications or anything.
Mm-hmm.
Like a bird hide.
Yeah, very similar. So the people in the caravans aren't yet like moving out of their caravans. There are a couple of merchants. Remember, there is the blacksmith. There's the furniture and other like mercantile stuff. There is an herbalist, and there are a few others that you never quite got what it is that they do. And then there is one who is a chef and was a tavern master back in the capital city, who has decided to seek out a somewhat quieter life than what is afforded at a tavern in the largest city in the hemisphere. He got tired of kicking ogres out of his bar every night.
Understandable.
So,
no small task.
How do you want to handle nighttime?
If it's been 3 days, Gloria wants to take 1 or possibly 2 of the most promising of the glory seekers that I have, and go with them.
I like it.
That's what I'm calling them now.
Okay.
Nice.
The glory
Nice.
seekers.
And we're just gonna go on patrol around. We're gonna take first watch around perimeter, which you said that's about 20 minutes, half hour walking.
So walking, it's about 45 to an hour. If you kind of jog, it cuts down to a half hour. If you run and have the endurance, you can get it down to about 20 minutes.
So I want them to get used to going at a regular pace, so like 45 minutes, keeping an eye out.
Yep.
I'll send 2 of them going south around, then I'll take them north going around.
Okay.
That it could be first watch. Yeah.
Sure.
And I just I'll cycle out my recruits just to get them into the habit of doing it.
Okay. Now, something that I want to make sure I'm understanding. So as it stands right now, we have and actually, Finn, can you point to which watchtower you placed Pa into?
Yeah, he's gonna hang out in this.
Ah, okay. All right. So that's where Pa is.
okay.
That makes sense.
How is Overwatch?
So the other towers, are they
Actually,
occupied or no?
Can we say that part of the house is built, the tower part? Because
Yeah.
obviously the rest of it isn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
Okay.
can say that they
Yeah.
like you asked for them to prioritize that, and so they got it done.
Yeah, sure. Okay. How far along are my young charges in their archery?
So they're actually both pretty
Function
okay
at a
shots.
basic level.
Like they're not they can't do like trick shots, right? They can't split an arrow with another arrow or anything.
Right.
But by what is it? British longbow standards, right? Like they can release three arrows in 30 seconds or whatever it is, or
Okay.
whatever that amount of time is.
So they could fight.
There was I've forgotten. I'd have to look it back up again, but there's like a ridiculous speed at which historical archers. Maybe no.
Do that with a longbow?
No, it's not the longbow ones. No. Hang on. It's
They are.
no, it's the horse people. The horse people on the
Centaurs?
steps.
This isn't based off that guy with the YouTube video, is it? Because he's not really a great source.
No, I know. No, it's the
Okay,
the
Because that keeps making the rounds.
the cons. Sorry.
Oh yeah, a horsebow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sorry.
okay.
So, but regardless, basically,
Cool.
they can release 3 comparatively accurate shots in about 30 seconds or less. So now here's the thing with the way D&D runs combat, that's actually what every archer can do.
Right.
But so for your purposes, they are competent with bows, if that makes sense.
So back in old school, their Thaco ain't the greatest, but they'll do.
Yeah, exactly.
So I would position one here and one here.
Okay, so hang on.
And I think I'll take this back here.
Oh, okay.
And we'll put old Paul. That way we've got at least some symmetrical coverage.
Okay,
like it.
hang on. Let me see if I can give us some.
And I've given them instruction to each tower will have a torch mounted on it,
Okay.
and they're carefully enough so it won't like immolate the tower they're in. But if they see goblins, to light their torch.
Okay.
Towers
So
lit. Gondor calls for aid.
Yeah. Man.
Maybe like a nice,
I don't like that plan. I'm not doing that because now I've just made them a target.
nice hooded lantern, maybe.
Yeah, just flash us a little light if they see goblins. We've
okay.
worked out a little code.
Yeah.
So I'm putting.
We got that together.
Okay. So I'm putting them. I'm not putting them in the towers because then it's really confused.
Right.
But they're like right next to it, and we can just understand that means that they're
Yeah.
in them. And those will be little stand-in pawns for our guys right now. Okay. See, I keep making more work for myself by adding more and more NPCs.
Don't name every one of my 15 children.
There's
I thought there were
Sally,
11.
and there's Michael, and there's Kevin, and there's Bryce, and there's well, anyway. Don't
Those are the
write
important ones.
don't write those names down. Ooh,
No.
that's good. I like that, Moogs. Yeah, chat, help us name the kids. We've got 11 children that we need to name.
There's 15. You said there were 15.
Right, but you've only met 11.
But only, yeah.
You've only met 11. Because, for example, 2 of them are currently learning how to be scouts.
Okay.
Okay. So.
And then we The
Where's the other two?
the archers that came with the
The other
caravan,
two
can
are
they just be...
very young, and they
Okay.
spent the day with their mothers.
Okay. 2 babies. Just checking.
Babs.
Were there archers with the caravan, Moogs?
Yeah, the caravan of archers. So can they take position in some of the other towers?
Yes.
Just to space it out.
Absolutely.
So I'm not gonna mark it. Basically, let me see here, because we actually have enough. So based on what I gave you guys before, so there is one person for each tower. Whether or not they're any good, but there's one person with a bow in each tower.
Who
Nice.
can yell for help.
Yep. That's all I have to do.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got our town set up. Let's find out what happens. So on this here first night, boop a doop a doop a doop a doop, boop a doop, boop a doop. 1d100. So last time I had Wiley give me the high low, and it sounded like he wasn't super fond of doing that again. So
I didn't do it well for us,
The
yeah.
helmet got it wrong both times.
Lieutenant Brenley.
Aye, aye, Captain.
Yes!
I'm Captain.
Dan.
Hi.
Lieutenant Dan.
Oh, by phone.
I caught my microphone
Ah.
headphone cable.
Um.
Just came right up.
Alice,
So
Alice
Brenley,
is the evil one.
to say.
high or low?
Hi.
Hi.
High it is. Okay. So you get the cooler encounter.
Nice.
For the first couple of hours of sort of twilight into darkness, it's very quiet. You can hear, some tree frogs off in the distance. There's, tweets and buzzing and all the various nature sounds that you would expect. After, and I'm going to give it to you guys rather than making you do a check on this one. But after the first, after about 4 hours goes by and we're into like proper nighttime darkness, around about 9:30, 10 o'clock, when it's just starting to, it's just completely dark. The stars do begin to come out, but you can tell the noises, the nature sounds, stop. And everything
Bad.
becomes very quiet.
I will have an aeronaut.
Okay. Now I'm curious. So Metzi, Brenly, and Glory, are you guys on the map? Are you placed where you actually are?
Yes. I'm in
Yes.
the cursed zone.
On
Brick,
patrol, so yes, Gloria
Okay.
is...
Brick, and Leech are there. Okay. So what you hear? Let me see. I have not been steered wrong by the tokens yet, so let me just make sure that the.
Can anyone else hear whale noise?
Yes.
Someone's
Okay.
TV in the background.
Okay. So, what you hear is no, you haven't heard anything yet. I need a perception check. Sorry, from all of you.
Okay.
Ouch.
Yeah.
I didn't say I was good on patrol.
That's
I'm
one
just
of my
on
good
patrol.
ones as well.
Okay.
We don't see shit.
Neither do your people.
Oh no.
I They got mud in their eyes. It's not their fault.
Hey,
They're
I
living
cleaned a
well.
lot of them.
What's our
You
elves'
clean the
excuse?
kids.
No, I was talking to the mothers. I cleaned a lot of clothes.
Okay, so what you see... Hang on, let's see. You all
Oh,
hear
no.
Phoenix.
No,
a loud
Oh.
shriek.
Sick.
that's a really
Why
big
is it
firebird.
Fire.
Are its wings bleeding and on fire?
No.
That's
Yes.
so metal.
It
So
is.
you hear a
Kinda like-
loud shriek and the crackling of fire. And
Intimately familiar with that noise.
a phoenix flies over the town.
Wow.
And
Didn't see that coming.
it,
Coming from the south?
yes, coming from the south, and it entirely illuminates everything. And as it's flying, it releases a trail of particles, glowing.
Oh, it's like the worst version of bird shit.
Actually, this is the best version. Sort of glowing dust that, when it lands, causes whatever is there to sprout vegetation, plant life.
Oh!
What if Bren
Oh.
catches one on her tongue like a snowflake?
A flower briefly grows, blooms, and then falls down.
That's magical.
That's disgusting.
Was I in the path? Did one land on one of my horns?
Oh,
Sure.
It was there now. I'm writing it. I'm writing it down.
Particularly if you're
Particles
like
and fur don't
trying
mix
for it to
well.
happen.
I
Yeah,
am probably like covered in fucking flowers.
you are able to find shelter. One of the children will hand you an umbrella, noting your discomfort, and
Thank you.
have now turned you into Mary Poppins.
That's fine. That's fine. Please, Eldritch God,
Betsy
I'm good
Poppins.
with it.
Betsy Poppins.
What's going on, notes?
And after the Phoenix passes, nothing else happens that evening. I would like knowledge nature or knowledge arcana from you guys, whichever one is better for each of you.
Should I roll a
Or
-1 or a
glory?
-1?
Well, Glory,
Oh
you
my
can give me
goodness.
religion.
Thank you. Oh. Never mind.
Hey! Not bad. Could have been better. Well, naturally.
Boom.
Thank
Here
you.
comes the ranger.
Nice.
Okay.
Thank you for
Goddamn
balancing me
elf.
out.
So, Wiley, Finn,
I was asleep during that class.
I don't like being in nature,
You
let
have
alone
heard-
reading about it.
you have heard of phoenixes.
Mhm.
They're not supposed to be real, but you know that what is and is not supposed to be often deviates from what actually is.
Right.
But what you just witnessed does not track with anything that you're familiar with. While phoenixes are, considered by many religions or peoples to be symbols of the life and death cycle or rebirth, in this particular case, the trail, the particles, the regrowing of plants, all of that is highly unusual, entirely out of your typical understanding.
I wonder if this is why we're seeing such a weird growth rate. Perhaps this phoenix has something to do with that. If you recall, we witnessed ivy growing quickly. Too quickly.
What are you talking to?
I don't think you're near any of us.
We can pretend for the purposes of exposition.
Look, I'm
that he is-
talking.
Okay.
It's the next morning.
Yeah.
And I'm talking to
All right.
myself.
Yeah.
I'm talking to the dog.
Although, for what it's worth, I enjoy the sort of like Adam West Batman quality of just like sort of
Yeah.
walking around explaining what you're seeing.
Ruminating. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm out there walking Thalion in my robe, and he's out doing his morning constitutional.
Your
Thinking to
mom.
myself. Yeah.
I spent like the rest of the night trying to get small children back into bed.
Yeah, good luck.
Because once they're up, they're up.
Uh,
going on?
Bed.
What's going on?
Is
Stop.
there a mayor anywhere to be found?
Stop
So,
making flower crowns. Just go to
Ellswick
bed.
is there to be found. So, assuming that you all go to bed eventually, because and so you realize, by the way, that you may want to set up a watch rotation, because while you are capable of having every tower occupied simultaneously, doing so means no one gets to sleep. So in future, it may be a good idea to have a watch and just have some unmanned towers. But in the morning, Ellswick will come find you around breakfasty time, because he's recognized, or is coming to recognize, that you guys are late sleepers, or at least that Metzi and perhaps Brendan and Glory might be.
Eating.
No.
Yeah, I'm not even a sleeper, so.
No, Brendan.
Ellswick.
I'm not.
No, that's them.
Oh, okay.
I mainly just like to nap. It's like I'm listening, but I'm not moving.
Fair enough. Brendan, are you an up with the sun sort?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Peppy morning person.
Oh, that's the worst. I mean, the best. Yay.
Yeah, no, she's the worst.
Ugh, humans.
She loves mornings and she thinks everyone else does too. And they're just beautiful. Every day is a brand new day.
Gloria has learned to appreciate it, bunking with Brian for the last 2-3 weeks now on the road.
Yep.
Yeah.
So Ellswick will come find you, in his usual Ellswicky way, and he will say, "Thank you for yesterday. Your efforts were monumentally helpful. The village all speaks quite highly of you. They're beginning to come together in a way that, from my conversations with them before, they didn't really think they'd be able to do. According to imperial policy, the population of this village is now large enough that we should hold an election for office. While many assume that I am already the mayor, the fact of the matter is I am not. While I
You will be.
I appreciate that, but while you act as if it is a foregone conclusion, there must be an election held. We plan to hold the election this evening after dinner. We will hold a short feast and then an election. As it stands right now, I am currently unopposed. But I will leave the option open for anyone to run in the meantime.
Like,
Running is what I would be doing.
Nice. But
I think he'd make a great leader.
I think he'd make a dead leader.
what has Leech been doing in these last 3-4 nights?
you have no idea.
Eating.
Awesome.
Leech and Brick, and it's amazing that Brick can do this. Leech and Brick will both disappear for hours at a time. And when they return, Brick will usually have an entirely full basket of flowers and other interesting plants. Sometimes he grabs thistles and other potentially medically relevant plants. As you've been watching, when he goes and turns them in to the herbalist, she'll show him and very slowly explain with pictures of the kinds of things that he should be trying to grab and bring back. And so he's now got a small bound together booklet of canvas and parchment pages with fairly detailed drawings of the kinds of things he should be grabbing. And
if the herbalist doesn't have any expertise in scribing, I would have helped with that.
Okay. The herbalist is capable of sketching, but not scribing. So any real writing, absolutely. We'll ask you for assistance.
Can Brick read?
No. But he likes to look at the letters. He thinks they're pretty. So
Understandable.
And so Brick has this sort of pamphlet.
I meant the pictures too. I was just trying to be fancy scribing, alright? He's a scribe. He can draw.
Brick has this pamphlet attached by a chain to his belt.
So he doesn't lose it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Leech typically comes back with a small burlap sack dripping of a variety of fluids that he will occasionally reach into, grab a hunk of something, pop it into his mouth, chew loudly, and then continue about his merry little way. That is what Leech and Brick have been doing for the past 3 days or so.
Good job, Leech.
I approve.
Keep on keeping on.
So proud of them.
They're living their best lives.
They are.
They're
Unfortunately.
living their lives like they're golden.
Productive little bastards.
So, I'm gonna.
Are we still talking to Elswick?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry, I interrupted. Go ahead.
When we get to the end of that conversation, or he starts to drift away, I'm just going to catch up to him and ask him if there are any tutors or teachers with the caravans or that appear to be arriving later, and just inquire as to the education situation.
Not yet, no. There is supposed to be someone, but they did not show up in the caravan when we left. I can send for someone, but we only have a window of communication to the rest of the Empire open roughly once a week or so, and even then only briefly. During that time, I'm able to ask them for whatever we might need to help fill any gaps in our supplies or personnel. But as it stands right now, we do not have anyone to teach the children, and even if I were to ask them today for an instructor for them, we wouldn't see anybody here for at least another 2 months.
Don't worry yourself over it. Essentials first.
Of course.
And then I just turn and leave. Again,
No
I'm
more
not
staring
I'm not
contests?
staring.
No more.
Normally, yes, but in this instance, no.
As you're walking away, Elswick will say, just loud enough for you to hear, "They say you smell of cinnamon."
And I will turn around and be like, say nothing. And I will walk away again. I am so taking over the education in this town.
That sounds great.
Mhm.
So the day goes pretty well. I'm assuming generally more of the same. I'm gonna kind of skip past it unless there's something specific that you really want to do.
Yeah, just hammering
Keep them-
my people into
yeah.
shape, getting them, assigning them rotations for nightly patrols, things like that.
Okay.
And
Perimeter check, babysitting, helping out the domestics.
Okay. As the
Training
sun.
It
Doors.
seems,
Oh no, Brenly.
if it seems like Captain Glory kind of has that on lock, then Brenly probably would try to be productive in her more typical way of like helping to build the structures and like moving things around for people. And
Everyone in town, by the way, calls you Lieutenant.
yes,
Lieutenant.
except for Metzi. Who says lieutenant?
Yes, Metzi
Yes.
calls you lieutenant. A couple of people call you Louis.
Metzi just calls you Brenly.
Louis.
Louis.
She loves all of it. And she answers to all
Metzi
of
just
it.
calls you Brenly. Brenly, Glory,
Fine.
does it.
Fine.
So as the sun is beginning to descend and it gets to be 3, 4, 5 o'clock, you start, you can smell coming from the town all sorts of phenomenal cooking smells. There's baking being done. There's meats being cooked slowly over fires. You can hear the sounds of children assisting with preparation. For the most part, wives and mothers, but a few of the men in the town as well are assisting with putting together what, by all accounts, looks like it's going to be a real feast. Something I forgot to mention, but the path that the Phoenix crossed over, that section of town is no longer mud. The ground firmed up, and it is a fairly lush sort of grass and ground cover. There are wild strawberries and clover and all sorts of other things along that
That sounds
just
lovely.
one swath, which the town has been sort of taking as an opportunity to kind of preserve and use as like a town green space.
Like when the fairy
Community
visits you in
garden.
Stardew Valley. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a farmer's market.
The Junimos or whatever.
Yeah.
Well,
No, it's
so
a
there's
random
actually an
event.
event that you can get at night where there is a little fairy that comes and like sprinkles her little fairy dust on your
Oh.
crops, and then they're automatically ready to harvest.
Nice.
Which is annoying when it's like a pumpkin, because then there's one pumpkin that is ready to go, and your entire field of them still has to grow, and you're like, great.
I have no idea what we're talking about.
Sorry.
Never mind.
It's a computer game called Stardew Valley. It's a farming simulator.
Great.
We pretend like we're farmers for hours.
So,
A farming simulator.
It's fun.
it's a lot more fun
love
than
it.
you think. It's very cartoony and okay. Just look up Stardew Valley. I'm not gonna explain all that right now because we are running up against time.
Yep. Okay, I will Google this
Yes.
farming simulator.
So, it gets to be evening. The feast is going quite well. And Elswick
Foreshadowing
Overlord
there.
Elvick.
is up at the front of the town, and he is giving a speech. And it says, "When we first founded this town about a year ago, we had no idea what it would become. We could not have known the hardships, the terror, the loss, but we also could not have known the joy, the hope of what will come. I thank you all for your hard work. I thank you for your dedication. I thank you for the food." And he points to the a group of women with aprons and ladles and such, and they all get a bit of a thrill out of this. And just in general, I want to thank you all for helping to put together just the best frontier settlement that the Empire has ever seen. While today we may be known simply by number, in the coming days and weeks, we will name ourselves what we wish. My hope is that we will take a page perhaps from our tiefling friend, Captain Glory, and pick something to which we aspire. Some hope that we may have, some goal of ours. All of you have been instrumental. I need perception checks from everybody as he continues speaking. All of you have been instrumental in making these things happen and keeping our city safe. Finn, as Elswick is speaking, you hear a I'm trying to think of how to explain it exactly. You hear the absence of other noises, and just over that, you can hear what sounds like well-greased, but still slight squeaking of a fairly heavily laden cart. It is about, if you had to guess, probably about 500-600 feet back from the town to the south.
To the south.
Yeah, you guys are on the northern edge of the town.
I say, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to slip away and grab the two boys,
Okay.
and we're going to have bows at the ready, and I'm going to catch Glory's eye
Okay.
and give him my little signal for something's up that we had already worked out, so as not to interrupt Elswick. And we're going to drift off into the shadows and go to the southern perimeter.
Okay.
And I will send the boys up the towers.
Well, so hang on. So this all takes some time. Glory, what are you doing?
Staring at the food, but Glory's gonna see that Finn's walking away, makes a signal, has to remember for a second what that means, and then nods back.
Okay.
Y'all hesitate.
Okay.
And then follow Finn, yeah.
As you were speaking, and now we get to roll. Now we get to find out just how bad this will be.
Oh no.
Quick question: are the barracks made yet? Are they fully barracks now?
No.
So we've been here a couple of no.
No.
We have no good defensible buildings, basically.
Not especially. No. You've got your towers. The school is probably one of the more defensible, just because it's one of the more complete.
How many people did we have in the town around?
About 115 total. Okay.
Right. Okay.
So here is what happens. Finn, as you are headed towards where the noise is, and the boys have fanned out and are heading to their positions, you can hear...
Sorry, misclick.
Oh, you're
No,
fine. You can hear a loud twanging noise. And when I say loud, we're talking like... you ever have one of those jumbo-sized rubber bands?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I know exactly what you're talking
Right.
about.
So it's that... Right, yeah. It's that deep sort of boom kind of noise. Right. And then Elswick stops his speech dead as a roughly 3 foot long... 4 foot long ballista pole grows out of the center of his chest, and he falls over.
Assassination.
At that moment, the hillside lights up with torches, and you can see goblin banners, and at the front of those is one human wearing all black armor. Well, human-sized person wearing all black armor, covered in goblin sigils, goblin writing, etched in blood. raises his sword and yells, "Charge!" And that's where we end tonight.
What?
I knew
You
that was
couldn't
coming.
have killed one of the annoying ones. You had to go for Ellsworth.
Nice.
Was I standing next to Elswick when that happened?
And the last time you left him, you didn't even do your staring contest. Now
You-
you never get to.
You were.
Why would you say that?
No. 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 Just no.
You got bared.
No. I'm too angry to look at you right now. No. I hope you feel bad.
I don't.
You were not standing directly next to Elswick, but you would not have had an opportunity to step in the way. You were far enough away that could not have happened. Okay.
But he's near me. Okay, I know what to do.
So, who is in charge of chronicling for this week?
I believe
I've been taking good notes, and I took real good notes from last week too. So
By default, it was Cubit because we all cycled through.
Okay.
Because it was Glory, then me, then Wiley.
And we don't have any
Thank
new
you.
items to keep
Okay.
track of this week.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay. So here is your homework. I actually want all of you to chronicle for this week. And tell me specifically, what your hopes and dreams are and what happened and how it was, all felt. And
Adventures with small children.
yes, exactly. So feel free to go into some more detail, perhaps even than what we did here.
Which means I get to name them.
But you should pick at least some from the chat.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they had some
Maybe.
good ones.
probably. Meh. Yeah.
And yeah,
One of them he named Adam.
So-
West.
and so that is where we will pick up. Cubit, you are in charge though of providing as well the sort of like the ticker, the moment to moment, like not in character, on top of your character thing. Can you do that?
Yeah.
Okay. So to that end, what's 1 plus and 1 minus? And I will start and preempt you a little bit by saying the minus this week was getting started late, and I'm super, super sorry. And my plus for this week, personally, is I'm loving how much of an understanding you guys seem to have of your characters, to where when I give you roleplay type options and opportunities, you generally know exactly what your characters would do. And I think I'm getting to a point where I know you guys well enough that I'm seeing some clear differences between like what your characters do versus what like you yourself, the person, might do. And so that's a pretty cool level of distinction. So I'm pretty happy about that. Metzi, Shakes, let's hear from you.
I'd say my plus has definitely been the chance to do a bit more RP and interact with people outside the party, so you get a bit more fleshed out. Getting the base set up and actually figuring out like defensible positions and how we're actually going to work the job we've been given. Mainly just hanging out with small children, and apparently I smell like cinnamon. Which is cool. That's very cool. My minus, well, for me mainly, it's my net dropping out and my phone dropping off its holder.
Okay, fair.
Because, yeah, suddenly the camera just goes, nah. But no, I don't really have any other minuses, apart from starting late, which was no one's fault. I'm looking at you.
I mean,
No one's fault. Yeah, see?
okay, thank you.
Okay. Yeah.
Wiley?
see. My plus is the role play. We're getting good interaction, both with NPCs and within the party. And I like in particular, Zed, your DMing I think is awesome because you give us so many different personalities to work with and voices.
Thank you very much.
And the cliffhanger at the end was dynamite. And the other plus is that we're able to play tonight, so I think that's really cool. And I'm glad you got a catnap in. That's good. So that's in my book. That's a no harm, no foul deal. I'm glad nothing's going on that you were like
Fair.
dying or something.
Yeah, no, I'm quite alive. Just for the stream to explain. So I've been just very quickly. So what happened? The reason why we were late. I'm not sleeping especially well because I've recently developed like an issue with my neck, and so it's uncomfortable for me sitting or sleeping in most positions. So
sucks.
I got home from work today and sat down, and like I even chose not to do something before the stream in preparation for the stream, and I got everything ready, and I was sitting in my desk chair and I fell asleep. And so I woke up at around 6:30 something to the voice of God saying, what's going on? And yeah, so I do apologize, and I thank you guys for being so cool and understanding about it.
No sweat. No sweat.
Moogs.
Plus for me, I love base building because now this isn't just a place where we defend. We got to do the setup. This is our base that gives us ownership. It makes us care about it more.
Yeah.
And yes, I love that.
Yeah.
Again, like everyone else said, more character interaction RP. I love that. I don't really have a minus, but a plus minus is the cliffhanger because I'm like, I want to play more. Just 6 more
couldn't
hours.
you have killed Leech?
Just 6 more hours.
Excuse you.
I said it. I'm not sorry.
I'm pretty sure he saved your life at least
He
once.
saved my life. I don't have to like him. We saved his life. He doesn't have to like us.
Fair.
But he does.
I like
He does.
Brick.
Yeah.
I'm okay with Brick.
Racist cat.
It's not because he's a goblin, it's because he's Leech. Make that very clear.
He's
Okay.
Cubit, one up, one down.
My plus is Leech. He is always the best character.
Forever
Forever and always. He is my plus. Constructive criticism. Excuse you.
They're just dead.
Constructive criticism. How dare you kill a character that I actually care about? That's rude. That's
not
not
dead
allowed.
yet. He's not dead yet.
Yeah,
okay.
who knows? Leech
He's just
is
full of
saved the
ballista
day.
bolt.
I have 15
Yeah.
charges to play on hands.
If they're already dead.
Hey, we all know Leech could save the day.
Yeah.
Yay.
Yeah, he probably could.
So likely.
Thanks.
We will find out when we return.
Yeah, I know. It's narrative death, but still.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. So, thank you, people who have been watching us. Thank you, Yeg, for asking questions.
Yes. That's what we're here for.
And let me see here. So, I know that we typically do try to raid somebody. Usually someone who's pretty cool. Do we have a suggestion from the stream as to who we should go and assault with our love?
Off the table's running.
Off the table? Okay. How do you spell that?
That is capital off _ the table, one word.
Okay, hopefully I did that. So
It's in the Discord.
okay. Okay, cool. I think I've got this spelled correctly then.
Oh, oops, yeah.
And I'm hoping that I'm doing the command correctly. All right. So, if this works properly, thank you very much, everybody, for sticking with us, and thank you, team, for being super awesome. And we will see you guys next week, and hopefully we'll actually be on time. I think This was, as far as technical difficulties are concerned,
This was tight, technically tight.
this was actually pretty smooth. So as long as I'm conscious, we should be fine.
And I will figure out some way to secure my phone.
All right. Oh, good. It looks like I got it set up. So we're going to be rating off the table. So thank you very much, and have a good night. Bye.
And we're rating.
We have a town.
Woo!
And we're rating. Here we go. We're about to raid. And we're